Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? I hope you're doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, based on wherever you're tuning in from, or based on whenever you catch the replay. I hope you're making the most of your day on this beautiful Sunday, May 25, 2025. I wanted to go over the past 2 weeks of testimony in the Sean P. Diddy Combs case. There has been some very interesting testimony. Let me turn this music off, y'all. I'm gonna turn the music off. Give me a second. Look, I turned it right back on. I'm sorry. I'm not really used to StreamYard just yet. Okay, so getting used to it. I'm getting used to it, but I wanted us to do a bit of a review because there's been a lot of testimony, a lot of witnesses presented by the United States of America in this case. And a lot of questions regarding whether or not the government has met its burden. As we all know, in any criminal case, the prosecution has the highest burden of proof, whether it be on the state level or federal level. So let's, without further ado, we're going to hop into the testimony.
Celebrate Zaxby's birthday with half off and...
My bad. Got a commercial on YouTube. But without further ado, we're going to hop into the testimony from the last 2 weeks of this case. This is an actual account of what was said in court by all witnesses, as well as the prosecution and the defense.
On discretion. We call LAPD Officer Israel Flores. I'm also a reservist for the Army. I was a guard with Securitas in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel near Century City.
What happened on March 5th, 2016?
I was told about the 6th floor. There, I recognized Sean Combs. He is there, wearing a gray sweater.
What was your title?
Assistant Director of Security.
Let me show you a photo of the Intercontinental Hotel.
It's shaped like a pyramid.
What kind of incidents did you respond to?
All kinds. We had a couple of things there. We'd prepare incident reports, the 5 Ws.
Would you attach photos to the reports?
Yes, but not video. We did not have the password.
When did this incident take place?
11 a.m. I got a report of a woman in distress on the 6th floor. I closed the security base and checked the cameras. There was an African-American man pacing back and forth. I didn't see a female. I rushed there.
What did you see on the 6th floor?
Mr. Combs in a towel and some light-colored socks. He's a rapper, producer, and Cassie on the floor.
Let me show you photos.
At this moment, the prosecution shows Flores a picture of Diddy in a tuxedo and in a separate photo, Cassie Ventura smiling.
What did you tell them?
That if they were arguing, they'd have to take it back to their room, and that the broken vase would be charged to the room. Cassie said she wanted her phone and her bag.
I'm really surprised that the security officer did not contact the authorities. That, I feel, was an issue to me, because there was clearly an altercation, as we all know, by way of the video that was shared publicly on CNN. So I'm not really certain why security didn't contact police at that time.
Cassie said she wanted to leave. Mr. Combs said, "You're not leaving. I saw inside the room a male black wearing dark clothing."
What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie left?
He called for me. He was holding a stack of money, not to tell anyone.
What did you say?
I said, "I don't want your money. The damage is going to be charged to your room."
Where did Cassie go?
After I spoke with her, she left. A car pulled up. She left in a black SUV.
Was there a driver?
7 feet. He said, "She wants to leave." I said, "I'm talking to her, not you." They left.
Then what?
We went up to Mr. Combs' room to remind him of hotel rules. He opens the door and grabs the phone and says, "Are you recording me?" I pinned him to the wall. I took photos of the broken vase to tell them to come clean it up.
Is this it?
My report with my name on it. At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge said, "Noted." Then they continued.
Then did you review the video?
Yes.
I'm handing you a thumb drive with videos. Did it have audio?
No.
Let's walk through it. Who is this?
Cassie.
And this?
Mr. Combs.
What's happening here?
She picked up the wall phone.
What did you find when you got there?
The broken vase.
What is at the end of this video?
Me coming out of the elevator.
Let's pull up the incident report again.
Here, we reminded him that the checkout time was approaching.
What did you add to the incident report after you reviewed the video?
I described what I saw in the video.
What else did you do with the video?
I recorded 2 videos of it with my iPhone to show my wife at home. At this moment, Flores's video of the Cassie Hotel incident he recorded on his phone with his voiceover, including about how shiny his shoes were, is...
So, for those of you who do not know, the security official recorded a personal video on his cell phone. According to him, he recorded it because he didn't think that his wife would believe him. So he wanted to memorialize the situation on video on his personal phone so that his wife would be like, wow, that's really Diddy, or, know about the situation. So they showed that to the jury, but they did not show it to the gallery.
Played for the jury. Then they continued.
Did you work the next day?
No, I had the next 2 days off.
When you came back in, did you look for the video?
I did, but it was gone.
Did you ever see it again?
Yes, recently.
Nothing further.
At this moment, the cross-examination began, and the defense were asking questions now.
You said your report was the 5 Ws? 11:14 or 11:15, you described Mr. Combs as having a devilish expression on his face.
That's my opinion.
When you get off the elevator, what's in your hand?
My radio.
Mr. Combs did not attack you, did he?
No.
And was there any law enforcement involvement?
No.
You videoed for your wife and kept it, right?
I did.
But law enforcement was never called?
They were not.
You told the jury Mr. Combs said to Cassie, "You're not leaving," but your report didn't say that, right?
At that point, I did not believe it was a significant fact. I'm not going to put down the back and forth.
So it wasn't important 9 years ago, but only now.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled. I did not put it in the report at the time.
You said you were offered a bribe, but hadn't you told him he had to pay for the vase?
Yes.
The gentleman you say you saw in the room, you described to the jury things not in your report.
He didn't engage.
Why didn't you ask him his name?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Brian Steele is the one doing the cross-examination. And I just want to say that Brian Steele is an amazing attorney. He's very thorough. He's very direct. And I would say that his questioning is very calculated, methodical, and deliberate.
He wasn't talking to no one.
Did you tell anyone at the time?
No,
And the 7-foot driver, do you know who it was?
I don't know, but Cassie knew him.
You didn't put in your report that you offered to call law enforcement, but she refused. Why not?
She said no, so there was no reason to include it.
You said you put Mr. Combs against the wall. That's aggressive, isn't it?
It could be, but I only put my forearm against his chest.
But you didn't put that in your report.
You're asking me to have put more detail in my report.
Do you remember the layout?
No, just a corner room.
Was it a normal hotel room like I would stay in? Just one room? Or did it have a living room?
I don't know.
The third party, you said he was on a bed?
It was a pullout.
You were in the hospitality business as well as security, right?
Yes.
Mr. Combs, it was clear to you that he wanted to pay for the damage, right?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge says, ask in a different way. After that, the defense said,
It can be embarrassing for a guest.
after this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge sustained. Then the defense said,
One moment, nothing further.
and then the redirect began.
Did you typically include every single detail in a report?
No.
Did he seem drunk or high?
No.
When he offered you money, what did he say?
That he didn't want anyone to know about it, pretty much.
Which way was Mr. Combs dragging Cassie?
Back toward the room.
Nothing further.
At this moment, the judge asked if the defense wanted a recross, and the defense only asked one more question.
They are motion sensitive cameras, so there are gaps, right?
Yes.
Nothing further.
After this, the judge asked for the next witness, and the government called a male dancer to the stand.
What did Ms. Ventura pay you for?
To have sex with her. Sean Combs was there too. Are black dancers, so could I go to a bachelorette party at the Gramercy Park Hotel in downtown Manhattan?
What did you expect to do?
A little stripper dance. She was in the hotel room in a red wig, stockings, and sunglasses. She gave me a few $100s.
What was the room like?
Red couches, Astroglide, a lubricant. There was a man on the right side of the room. The man had on a white robe and a bandana over his face, below his eyes, and baseball cap. From his voice, I recognized him as Sean Combs.
What did he say?
That he was into importing and exporting. He said he was having problems with my boss.
At this moment, the defense objected, and then they continued.
I'll get back to that. After this was over, what happened?
Cassie gave me a couple of $1,000s more. He said to give them my phone number. I did. Cassie called me and asked me for a photo.
Then what?
She called me to go back. I did, for a few hours. And then a few times after that.
Combs always present.
Yes,
Any other locations?
Essex House. His residence on 56th Street, I believe 210 at the time. And at her residence on West End Avenue, I think number 10.
What name were you to say you were there to see?
Black. I would send her vulgar text messages.
Like what?
You want me to say it?
Give an example.
I text. I want to fuck you right now.
How often did you use baby oil?
Every time. Sean Combs said we didn't have enough baby oil on. He'd say, y'all slow down, separate from each other. One time he tried to have us role play, like we had just met at an airport. We weren't good, so we skipped that.
What direction did Mr. Combs give you?
He'd tell me to step off and back off.
How many times, if any, were you told to urinate on Ms. Ventura?
At this moment, the defense objected on the grounds of suggestive, but was overruled.
They told me not to do it all at once.
At this moment, the defense objected, saying, objection, to him saying they. Then the judge said, I've got it.
So, Diddy wanted them to role play as if they had just met in an airport, and neither one of them was good at it. I mean, I can understand that being like put on the spot. like role play, put on a show like right this minute. It's kind of difficult to hop into that type of character or scenery when it's on demand. So I get it. I get why they couldn't really rise to the occasion. Why is this acting like this? Hold on.
They continued.
What happened afterward?
They'd leave me waiting for hours. The whole thing might go on for 10 hours. They were headed to the Essex Hotel. They said to go in 30 minutes. It was the first time he opened the doors himself, dressed in a suit, no mask.
How did things change?
He didn't feel.
At this moment, the defense objected. Then they continued.
Who, if anyone, recorded?
Mr. Combs with a cell phone and camcorder. He took a photo of my driver's license for insurance. He said,
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge said, focus it.
What did you understand?
he was threatening me. Once I went and Cassie was slumped over. He said, it's not going to happen this time.
Did Mr. Combs offer you
Molly, I guess it's called. I don't do drugs. MDMH, MD8, I think. I went out and handed out $100 bills.
How did the Molly make you feel?
Sick and euphoric, and like an idiot handing out $100 bills.
Who else was present?
A guy who told me he was an actual escort. He was having sex with Cassie at her apartment. The guy was like looking at Sean Combs, and Combs said, don't you be fucking looking at me?
The defense objected, and the judge said, let's get a fresh question.
What did he look like?
Black guy, kind of skinny. We exchanged phone numbers.
Have you seen him in 10 years?
No.
Did it ever seem you were not the first person there?
Yes. Half-used Astroglide. Towels on the floor.
After the $100 bills, did you see them again?
I couldn't do it anymore.
What did you get paid when you couldn't perform?
Nothing. But I never asked for money. I was happy to get involved with people with such notoriety. But after I saw Sean Combs' Cassie, I couldn't do it anymore.
What was Mr. Combs saying as he met Cassie?
He said, when I tell you come over, you come over. I didn't know what to do.
Did you intervene?
No. I knew that the changes there were bodyguards.
At this moment, the defense objected, and it was sustained.
What next?
He said, are you all ready to continue?
Did you try?
I don't recall.
Did you see them again?
I thought I had developed some sort of friendship with Cassie. I may have been speculating. I went there. I heard him slapping her. He walked out in a towel. She ran to me. I asked, why are you staying with this guy?
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge asked on what grounds, and the defense said hearsay, and it was overruled.
She said it was okay.
Nothing further.
Let me show you a text message chain between you and Cassie. Is it accurate?
Yes.
You were working for a service.
A male review show.
You were a manager? Male strippers for women?
Yes.
Prostitution was prohibited?
That is correct.
Your job was to build it up?
Yes and no.
I'll go with yes.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and it was sustained.
Did the company open fake businesses to optimize search results?
Fake addresses. It was just SEO.
You went to optimize the lady's experience?
I have no idea what you mean. It's just our slogan.
Cassie told you to say the name Black?
Yes.
Your boss told you someone wanted a black man stripper?
Yes.
Let me show you.
At this moment, the defense showed something that shouldn't have been put on a screen, and the defense said to take it off. Then they continued.
She was wearing a wig?
Yes.
She handed you money?
She handed me $4,000.
Before any oil rubbing?
Correct.
She had on heels?
And dark glasses.
Where'd the money come from?
Her hand.
You were wearing a New York City Police Department uniform, right?
I bought an NYPD t-shirt.
You took the oil off in front of Cassie?
The oil? No, I took my clothes off. And she said, it's my birthday.
It appears she is enjoying herself?
Yes.
What was your position?
Missionary. I was like, did that just happen?
She asked you for a photo?
Asked for it.
So, to continue, you returned to the Gramercy Hotel?
Yes.
While you and Miss Cassie Ventura were having sex for hours, Miss Ventura took the lead.
No.
You took the lead?
We were equally doing our thing. There wasn't a leader.
You decided together?
Yes.
Fair to say she was in complete control of everything she was doing?
I can't say that.
You did not wear a condom?
I did not.
Your boss told you Miss Cassie Ventura paid for the hotel?
Yes.
She paid with her credit card?
I have nothing to do with that. She used her card to pay for the dancer.
Okay, that is at her apartment on 11th Avenue.
I believe it was West End Avenue.
You claim Mr. Combs told her to come over. She said she had her personal information on the computer, so wait a minute. And he threw a bottle at her?
Correct.
He comes out and says, "Are you ready?"
Are you guys ready?
Isn't it true Mr. Combs told you, yo man, I'm gonna have to deal with this. You need to get the f out?
That is not correct.
In 2023, didn't you tell prosecutors he said, yo man?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of it not being in evidence, and the judge said you can only use it to try to refresh his recollection.
Read it to yourself. Does it refresh you?
I do not remember saying that. What I am reading here, get the f out.
The prosecution objected, and the judge said disregard that.
Did you date a model named Malia?
Malia, and I didn't say I dated her. We were friends.
You were with her and saw Cassie with someone not Mr. Combs?
Yes?
You told Amelia you saw Cassie socially?
Yes?
You thought Cassie wanted to see you one-on-one. Nothing to do with Sean Combs, right?
I don't see what you mean.
In front of the Dream Hotel, that's what you thought?
No.
You only saw her inebriated one time?
I saw her passed out on the couch. Mr. Combs told me, I don't think it's going to happen today.
The time with the other male, you rotated?
Not correct.
You watched?
Yes?
You said Mr. Combs was directing, but do you recall meeting the prosecutors on March 28th, 2025, and telling them you didn't recall Mr. Combs giving directions about positions?
Yes?
So he didn't direct?
Incorrect.
You thought you were in a relationship with Cassie, didn't you?
No.
You wanted to get alone with her, to date her?
If she'd let me, I would have.
You'd get jealous of Mr. Combs?
For those of you who are just joining us, we are going over the full 2-week testimony presented by the United States in the case of the U.S. versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. So we're going from the very beginning to where we currently are. As most of you probably already know, there was no testimony on Friday due to the holiday, and the court will resume on Tuesday to observe the Memorial Day holiday.
No.
Did you not tell them that Mr. Combs would tell you, it's my turn?
At this moment, the prosecution objected and asked for a sidebar. Then they continued.
Didn't you tell the government that you would feel jealous because you liked Ms. Ventura romantically?
I do not recall that.
Put up 35 to 70.
At this moment, the prosecution said just for the parties.
I do not recall that.
Nothing further.
Please explain why you now say Mr. Combs directed you.
He asked about positions, but Mr. Combs did tell us what to do. Use baby oil.
The timing of the handing of cash, how did the amount compare to your stripping services?
$3,800 more.
How much were you paid to perform when you could?
$700 to $5,000 or $6,000.
And when you couldn't perform?
They paid me nothing then.
Did Ms. Ventura call you after the Dream Hotel?
Yes.
Do you know who she was with?
No.
Did she answer your text messages?
Never. Almost.
You said you wanted to hug her. Why?
I could see she was afraid.
What did you do?
I could not engage. I was messed up.
What did Mr. Combs say to you?
He said, it's time for you to go.
In the Gramercy Hotel, who was in the room?
Sean Combs, myself, and Cassie.
When she appeared to enjoy herself, was Sean Combs always in the room?
Yes.
Was that the same man who called her and beat her?
I did not see the beating, I presume.
At this moment, the defense objected and it was sustained.
You heard slapping.
Yes.
Nothing further.
This document, do you see where you said, I'm on the Upper West Side? She says, 10 West End Avenue. Hit me when you're there.
Yes.
Do you see your text? Don't give a f if I'm a little tipsy. I love y'all N-word.
Yes.
And that was after the beating?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Why did you write that?
I wanted them to see I had no problem with what he had done and keep it going.
No further questions. The government calls Cassandra Ventura. How old are you?
38.
What is your work?
Okay, so now we're moving on to Cassie's testimony. Her testimony spanned 4 days during this trial. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Cassie is the main witness in the government's case against Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Musician and entertainer.
How long were you with Sean?
10 years.
Did you get in arguments?
Yes, it would result in dragging
What else did he do?
me in the head if I was down.
How frequently was he?
Too frequently. I would get black eyes and
Let me show you a video. Where is this?
the Intercontinental in Los Angeles. It was after a freak off.
What does that entail?
The hiring of an setting it up.
How did you feel when he first asked for it?
Confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy.
Did you agree to one when he first proposed it?
Yes. Then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. I didn't know what no could turn into.
What do you mean?
Making him angry.
What were you afraid would happen if you said no?
Then he had materials,
What did you give the government?
laptops.
I've handed up GXB. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I've reviewed this drive. It has communication and documents pertaining to Mr. Combs.
Did you review photos on it?
Yes,
What's this photo?
me in 2004 with Carrie Morgan.
When did you sign with Bad Boy Records?
2006, it was a 10-album deal.
Did you release any after late 2006?
No,
Who's in this photo?
Kim Porter. She was Sean's ex from before me and the mother of his children.
Where did you celebrate your birthday in this photo?
In Las Vegas. Carrie Morgan was there too. We're out on his patio on my 21st birthday. VMAs.
What happened then?
Sean kissed me in the bathroom. I ran back to my hotel. I told Carrie.
When you got back to New York?
I'd visit him at the Trump Hotel in Columbus Circle. His apartment was being renovated.
What were you doing with your music career?
Trying to come up with a concept. Sean called all of the shots.
What is the age difference between you and Sean?
17 years.
How did you feel when Sean invited you to hotels?
Nervous. Excited, like we were going to talk about music. He introduced me to... I didn't understand it.
Did you visit Sean in Miami?
Yes, I went with Carrie Morgan in Dallas, Austin.
What did you and Sean do together?
He gave me Blue Dolphin on a boat.
Had you once before taken it unintentionally?
Yes,
How did you take it unintentionally?
it was in Gatorade.
So Cassie is explaining that Diddy introduced her to drugs, and for the purposes of YouTube, this video is bleeping out certain words, but she said she unintentionally had taken drugs prior to him in his introduction because it was in Gatorade at one point.
When you took it intentionally with Sean, how did it feel?
Like rolling.
At the time, what did you think?
That we were spending a lot of time together. I thought we were monogamous.
Was it made public?
No, I was his artist. Also, his family, his children.
Who was linked to him publicly?
Kim Porter.
How did Sean treat you at this time?
We had fun.
What was his lifestyle like?
He had all these assistants. He could get things done. He traveled quite a bit.
What's this photo?
Sean and I at a strip club in New York, like 2007 or 2008. Halloween,
How did Sean's moods vary?
day to day.
When it swung, could you describe it?
Anger, zoning out,
How did it impact you?
greatly. The next thing I knew, I was getting in the face. There was also psychological. He'd tell me to watch my mouth, change my face.
How would he keep tabs on you?
We didn't live far apart. He'd send security to come find me, or a trusted assistant.
Like who?
David James, Christina Coram.
Was your relationship exclusive?
No.
Did you see other men?
Yes.
Did Sean see other women?
Yes. He said, I am Puff Daddy. I was insanely jealous.
Did you move to LA with him?
Yes. He wanted to be close to his kids who were there.
Where did you live in LA?
875 Comstock Avenue.
How tall was the building?
No more than 17 floors.
Where did Sean live?
200 South Mapleton. Sean would use a golf cart to get back and forth.
Who paid your rent in LA?
Sean, except when I had the house in Studio City.
Why'd you pay then?
I could afford it then, and I wanted to have some control. It was accepted.
By whom?
Sean.
How many songs did you write while with Sean?
Hundreds. Most were never released. Some got leaked on the internet, some on mixtapes.
How many albums on your deal were not released?
9.
Did you get paid for them?
No. The freak offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do.
Time in your week would freak offs take?
The longest was 4 days. Significant periods of time.
At this moment, there was a break. Then they continued.
Who was your manager at Bad Boy Records?
James Cruz.
What did he tell you?
That he was managing me with one hand tied behind his back. He had to check everything with Sean.
How did you make money if your records weren't being released?
I did hosting parties when Sean approved them.
What comments did Sean make about your physical appearance?
That I looked too Mexican with my hair like that.
How did he like your nails?
White, French tipped.
Hair?
It varied. I shaved my head in 2009.
Your body?
He told me to work out, prepare for the freak-offs.
How did you feel about his comments?
It varied.
What else did Sean pay for?
Cars.
Did he give you cash?
Yes, but he would take things away depending on how he felt.
What else would he take away?
My self-confidence.
Who would take things away?
Staff. I assume staff.
At this point, there was an objection by the defense. Then the judge said to disregard the last answer.
Who took your laptop and phone?
Security.
How long would they be gone for?
However long I was being punished for.
How often were you in contact with Sean's staff?
Daily.
Who are in these photos?
Christina Coram and Miss Fletcher.
What did you call Miss Coram?
KK.
And who's this?
D-Rock. He was Sean's security.
How frequently were you in Sean's residences?
All the time.
Did they all have safes?
Yes.
What did you observe in them?
Cash, jewelry, cameras, and videotapes. In New York, LA, Miami, and Alpine, New Jersey.
Do you recall an incident between Sean and Suge Knight?
Yes. We were having a freak off in LA. D-Rock came in and said Suge was down at a diner. Sean drove over there.
What was your reaction?
I cried, said don't do something stupid.
Were you ever handed a...
Yes. We were going to a club in downtown LA. We'd taken mushrooms. I was high. I was told to put the gun in my bag. I was freaking out.
Who was present?
A driver, security, and Sean. Another time I saw them get dressed and grab guns and leave in an SUV.
How long were they gone?
30 or 40 minutes.
Let me switch topics. How soon into the relationship did Sean mention to you?
First 6 months or a year.
How old were you?
22.
Why did you agree to try a freak off?
Good question. I wanted to make him happy.
Where was the first freak off?
One of his homes in Los Angeles.
Who is this?
The first escort.
Do you know his name?
No.
I'll call him the first escort. Were you aware he was paid?
Yes. To dance and to have intercourse with me.
What drugs did you take?
Ecstasy and alcohol before things started.
Did you disguise your appearance?
Sean said we would disguise ourselves. I wore a masquerade mask.
What was a session in a freak off?
Until the escort finished.
How many sessions with the first escort?
At least 2.
How did you feel?
I was high, so I didn't feel much. Dirty and confusion, and that he was happy with me.
Why did you feel you couldn't say no?
I didn't want to make him angry or upset after he'd shared this part of himself with me.
How frequent did the freak offs become?
Weekly for a consistent amount of years.
When was your last one?
2017, 2018.
How long were you awake during the freak offs?
I never slept. I took drugs, ecstasy and Molly. Coke.
Do you recall all of the freak offs?
That would be impossible.
Did you want to stop?
Yes. I was humiliated. I didn't have those words then. I couldn't talk to anyone about it.
Did you tell him you didn't want to?
Yes. I brought it up gently. I didn't want him to just do it with someone else.
Were you able to express your concerns to him?
At this moment, the defense objected to the question, and the judge told the prosecutor to rephrase his question.
Why would you talk to him gently?
I didn't want him to be angry.
What is this?
Email between me and Sean.
What did you call him?
Pop, pop.
Why?
He asked me what I called my grandfather. I did it, but now I think it was disrespectful.
What did you write?
I really need to,
Why did you write that?
because I wanted to be with him.
I'll read Sean's messages. You read yours. You don't want to do anymore?
I'm so predictable.
What did you think this meant?
That he knew I didn't want to do the freak-offs anymore, but then I backpedaled.
Why?
To not make him angry. He could be violent.
Where'd you get your outfit?
Pleasure chest elsewhere.
Did you get piercings?
Yes, Sean came with me.
Which of his homes did you have freak offs in?
Miami, New York,
What other homes?
my homes, all but Studio City.
In what other cities?
Atlanta, Ibiza,
In what hotels in New York did you have freak offs?
Trump, Gramercy,
Intercontinental?
44th Street, yes.
Elsewhere?
Mandarin Oriental, Fontainebleau.
What names were used?
Jackie Starr I used. Frank Black.
What supplies were used for freak offs?
Astroglide, baby oil, condoms.
Who brought the supplies?
Security, Sean's assistants.
Which brand of baby oil?
Johnson's.
How was it used?
Sean said, you need to be glistening.
Were there freak offs where you ran out of baby oil?
After this question, the defense objected the question on the ground of it being irrelevant. Then the prosecutor asked this question,
You also mentioned Astroglide.
but was also objected over the same reason. Then the judge asked for a sidebar. After the sidebar, they continued.
We were just talking about Astroglide. How was it used?
Lubricant.
If you ran out, what would you do?
We'd call either staff or the bell desk, give them a tip.
Were the freak-offs lit?
Initially, it was a candle, strong smelling, Glade.
Any other use of candle wax?
A few times poured on my body.
Who set the temperature of the room?
Sean, I was expected to do freak-offs on my period.
Did you want to do that?
No.
Did you want to be urinated on?
After this question, the defense objected, giving the reason of asked and answered, but the judge overruled it.
So there, specifically, they asked if Cassie wanted to be urinated on, and she said no. And the defense objected to that, I'm sure, because it's painting a very damning picture of their client.
No, I did not want it.
How did it feel?
It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it.
Why were you choking?
Too much in my mouth.
Who else did on you?
Sean,
Did you want Sean to urinate on you?
I didn't want anyone to urinate on me.
How often did it happen?
Often enough.
Which hotel charged the most for damage to the room?
The Intercontinental in New York. They redecorated the whole room for ridiculous money.
Back to the nation. Why didn't you say no?
It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being urinated on by two men.
Where did you find escorts?
Initially, Craigslist.
At this moment, they took a break, but then continued.
Ms. Ventura, in what cities did you respond to ads on Craigslist?
In New York.
Did you respond to ads on Backpage as well?
Yes.
Who directed you to communicate with escorts?
At this moment, the defense objected to the question. Then the prosecution asked another question
Who, if anyone?
before being interrupted by another objection due to assuming a fact, not an evidence.
Did you ever reach out to an escort independently?
No.
Did you ever not use an escort who arrived?
One couldn't perform, so Sean sent him on.
What was a safe escort?
Not a cop. And someone who'd not run and tell everyone about their experience with us.
Why not a cop?
I learned this whole situation was not legal.
Before Cassie could finish her answer, the defense objected, and the judge said the jury will disregard that answer.
How did Cash get there?
Security, or he brought it himself.
The escort Dave. Do you know his real name?
Clayton Howard.
Who is this? Photo shown to witness.
Daniel.
What service did you use?
A dancer service.
Do you recognize Jules?
Yes.
In what cities did you have freak-offs with Jules?
New York, Los Angeles, Vegas.
Do you know his last name?
No.
Who's this?
I knew him as the Punisher.
Did you use at every freak-off?
Yes. I need to disassociate and become a...
Now, the Punisher, guys, I actually have seen him in action, not in a freak-off sense, but in a mail review in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I am searching for the photos because I do have photos of the Punisher in action. I'm going through the crates, and once I find them, I'll post the photos on my community wall with like blurred sections, because back then they were like in their birthday suits. So I will definitely search for those pictures and post them on my community wall. Sidebar, if you guys are not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing today. Be sure to set your notifications to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content.
Motionless.
Who else used at freak-offs?
Sean did. Sometimes the escort.
What other did you use?
Special K. GHB. Mushrooms.
I'll read Sean's parts of this email. You read yours.
When should I take the thing? When will you be there?
Pausing you there. What did you mean? I took mine. I'm flying. What does he mean?
He's high.
Why did you take more drugs?
To not be present with the experience.
Why?
Because it was something I hated.
How did you react to ecstasy and MDMA?
It could make me vomit.
What would he say?
To continue.
Did you want to continue to have intercourse when you wanted to vomit?
No.
How does G make you feel?
Drunk. Tipsy.
Cocaine?
Makes my heart race. I'm not a huge fan.
Muscles?
The walls come alive.
After that answer, they took a break, but then returned and continued.
When drugs ran out, how did you know who to reach out to?
Sean would tell me.
During the session, how would you know to move to the next step?
Sean.
What would happen after the escort on you?
Sean would want it body in the next room.
Did you do that?
I did.
Where?
Usual.
Did you want to do that?
No.
How did you feel?
I was an object, being heavily objectified by men. Sometimes he would watch by FaceTime.
Were some sessions recorded on your devices?
Because they were there.
If you saw them on your device, what would you do?
I would delete them.
Why?
They were disgusting. I never wanted anyone to see them.
Were Sean's devices used sometimes?
Yes, I asked him to delete them.
Did he?
I don't know.
Did you ever leave a freak off before it was over?
Yes, at the Century City Intercontinental. I finally had a premiere coming up and I didn't want to mess it up, but Sean me.
At what point did Sean you?
Between sessions.
What happened next?
I got to the elevator. Next thing I knew, I was to the ground.
Who threw you down?
Sean. He grabbed me by my neck and my hoodie.
Let me show you the video.
At this point, the prosecution showed Cassie the hallway video.
What are you doing?
Trying to use the hotel phone.
What is Sean doing?
Taking my phone and my bag.
Ms. Ventura, I just handed you 2 drives. What is on them? GX8?
Messages and photos from my devices.
Yesterday you testified about Sean going armed to look for Suge Knight.
Sean took guns with him.
And he told you to ask the escorts if they were cops?
I would begin by saying I was not a cop.
Sean told you to do that?
Yes.
What happened when you fought back?
I did that more earlier in the relationship. It would make him more violent, want to push me harder.
At this moment, the defense objected on ground of speculation, but was overruled.
How would Sean react if you fought back?
Anger.
I'm going to show you the LA Intercontinental hallway again. Play from 143 to 146. Who enters?
Sean.
What's in his hand?
He doesn't appear to have anything.
Play to 159. Now anything in his hand?
My phone.
How did he get it?
Well, he took all of my stuff.
Where does he end up?
Sitting in a chair in front of the window.
What are you doing?
I'm walking away from him.
Now who's in the video?
Me and security.
In this one, play from 531. Where did you go from the hotel?
I took an Uber.
Now let's turn to text messages. Can you read page 4?
Please call, I'm surrounded.
Who sent that?
From Sean. He was running around in a towel. I told him to put the robe on.
Who sent these green messages?
I did. I wrote to Sean. Jules left. As long as you're quiet, you can stay. Peace.
Who was Jules?
Escort.
Is this Jules?
Yes,
B606 and 607 side by side.
that's me. A selfie of me with a fat lip.
When did you take it?
In the Uber. With one of my phones.
What did you write here?
I said, please stay away from me.
And what does he say?
He says, I'm getting arrested.
Was he?
I don't think so.
What did you write back?
Plugging my phone in.
So after the Intercontinental video, I think. I hope I'm saying that right. But after the hotel situation, Diddy text Cassie to let her know that he was being arrested by law enforcement. But there was no law enforcement present. I think that this was his way of trying to lure her back to the hotel because he was not being arrested. No police were ever contacted regarding that incident.
Going to bed.
Who was at your home when you got there?
Carrie Morgan. She was upset when she saw me. She called the police.
Did you speak with them?
Yes, but I didn't say who I was talking about and they left.
Why?
I wasn't ready.
Did Sean try to come to your apartment?
Yes, he was banging. That was pretty normal from him, but this is a pretty private building.
Did you hear from Ms. Coram that day?
Yes, and I went to see D-Rock and his wife to try to feel safe.
In this photo, what are you wearing?
A gown and sunglasses. I had a black eye.
What if any other bruising was visible?
I had several bruises on my leg, but I changed clothes.
What's this?
Me and Sean at the after party.
I'm going to show you escorts. Do you know the name of this person?
No,
In what cities did you use him?
New York.
Who's this?
Islander. He was on Latin Men. We used him in LA and maybe Vegas.
Who's this? 2A616?
We called him Tommy.
Who is this?
I know him as Greg, an escort in Miami.
Who's this?
Jonathan. We saw him in Miami.
Who's this? Red baseball cap backwards.
I don't know. He looks familiar from the freak-offs.
What did you write here?
This is all we do. I'm just getting back on track. I'm sure you can call Kim or something.
What did you mean by this is all we do?
Freak-offs.
Did you try to avoid anything in the freak-offs?
I tried to avoid kissing. It seems too intimate. But Sean told me to do it, to kiss the escorts.
What did Sean ask you to do on your 29th birthday?
A freak-off. He had me pulled out of the Blind Dragon for the freak-off. Some security.
What about blackmail material?
He wanted me to fear.
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
When would Sean mention the freak-off videos?
To hurt me. One time I was dating someone else and he threatened to release the freak-off videos. I'd have to answer to my mother. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone.
What did Sean say the impact would be?
Shame.
Let me show you a chat. Who's on it?
Me and Sean. July 22nd, 2013.
Read your message.
I wrote, please delete the videos off your phone. Too many people have access to your devices. He said, no iCloud. All good. Ambien kicking in.
At this point, the prosecution requested a sidebar, and the judge then called for a break to change some things in the courtroom. During the break, Combs was seen sitting at the defense table, speaking with his lawyer, Xavier Donaldson. After that, the prosecution stated there were issues with the privacy screens and said they would put that off and do something else now. Then they brought the jury and Cassie Ventura back into the courtroom and continued.
I offer more exhibits. What did you say here?
I'd been told there was a sexually explicit video out there about me. I reached out to Sean.
Then what?
We were driving back to NYC from Atlantic City to talk to this DJ, Who Kid,
Did that happen?
at a restaurant.
What was security's role?
To intimidate, they were lining the room.
Who was there?
Uncle Paulie, James Cruz.
How would you recover from a freak off?
I wanted to feel numb. We'd get massages, IV fluids. The chef would cook us something.
How often did you take after freak offs?
Often. I got urinary tract infections.
Were the UTIs painful?
Very. Antibacterials didn't work anymore.
How did it feel during freak offs?
Burning. I would not advise it.
Let's read this out loud.
I have all these sores on my tongue. I have another UTI.
What sores?
Friction in my mouth.
From what?
Orals.
You said another UTI, then sad face emoji.
I was open with him about them.
So you feel sick.
Why are you sorry? I took the blame for things.
Which escort would go to clubs with you and Sean?
Jules.
The escort from the Intercontinental in LA.
Yes.
Did you want to have sex with Jules? Ever?
No, but I knew him.
Why did you do it?
Sean.
Who was present when Sean put his hands on you at freak offs?
Sometimes the escort was there too.
In the same room?
Yes, Jules.
And in the suite?
Yes.
Were they aware?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
Yes. The escorts would ask me if I was okay afterward.
In what cities did he put his hands on you?
New York, Los Angeles, Miami.
How frequently?
Too frequently.
What's the Abbey?
A gay club in LA. I went there with my friend.
Where were you going?
To a music festival in Canada run by Drake. Sean came to my home and tried to attack me. I was thrown into the bed frame.
What's this?
A photo of my eye afterward.
Who took you to the doctor?
D-Rock.
Did you send this photo to Sean?
Yes. And I wrote, so you can remember. I wanted him to be sorry about it at least.
In this photo, where were you?
In the green room in Toronto. I put my hair over my eye. Then we went to the Hamptons. Sean wanted to have a freak off in the Hamptons. We got a hotel and an escort.
Which one?
Dave. I took B. I went into a G hole and blacked out. I woke up nude in the shower. Dave and Sean were freaking out. I bugged out. It wasn't pretty.
Then what?
I spoke to a friend of Sean's, and then we had a freak off.
What's this?
My eyebrow healed up a little bit. A week later, I have a permanent scar on my eyebrow.
What's this?
Me at the Cannes Festival.
What happened at Cannes?
Sean accused me of taking from his boat. He threw me off, but my passport was still on the boat.
And you were on the red carpet that same night?
Yes,
Did you attend the movie?
yes.
How did you get back to New York?
On a commercial flight. I traded my seat to get away, but he traded to get next to me.
What did he show you?
Freak off videos. He played them for me on one of his laptops. He said he'd release them.
How did you feel?
Trapped.
When you landed in New York, what did you do?
We went to a dinner. Then he wanted to have a freak off. So we had a freak off.
Why did you do it?
To make him not threaten me.
Let's read these from June 13th, 2013. Had Sean been violent with you before this?
Yes,
Had you told him before you didn't want to do freak offs?
yes,
You said you needed GHB?
yes, and that 2 escorts weren't available. I wrote, only Paul available, or Jake the white guy, but he can't do until 11. The other guy can do earlier. It's just one more person knowing our secret.
What did you mean?
The freak offs.
What is SLS?
A hotel in Hollywood.
When would you take Valium before a freak off?
When I had anxiety, Sean's driver was bringing me the Valium. It was Raheem, I think.
I have a binder for the court. The gallery will not be able to see these exhibits. Ms. Ventura, I will show you some exhibits. 2A404. Who is it?
She worked for Sean.
We will call her Mia. When you gave your devices to the government, were they working?
No, they were broken.
Put up 602A for Ms. Ventura and the jury only. What's on your skin?
Oil.
When did Sean first hurt you physically?
It started in the first year.
What staffer were present when Sean was physical with you?
At this moment, the defense objected on the grounds of physical is vague. Then the prosecution.
Now notice that even the people in the gallery who are present in the courtroom, they're not actually getting to see certain exhibits. Certain exhibits are still being restricted to the person on the stand and the jury for view. So it's kind of like at the end of the day, the jury will be making the decision, and the jury are the only individuals with full disclosure of the government's case.
Was more direct.
When did Sean first use violence on you?
In New York City. We were in a car with his security, and he knocked me around.
What did he do?
He hit me in the side of the head. I fell to the floor of his Escalade.
In January 2009, did you attend an event in LA with Sean?
Yes,
What happened as you left?
I'd been speaking to a producer about music. Sean called me a slut. I hit him in the face. I had been drinking.
Did you see any injuries?
No, I was on the floor of the car, and he stomped on my face.
How long did this last?
10 minutes. Then I tried to get away, but Sean's security brought me back.
Who?
Roger Bonds,
What did they tell you?
to go to a hotel. They snuck me into the hotel covered up so no one could see my face.
How long were you at the London hotel?
A week, a little more. An assistant brought me ice cream.
What was the assistant's name?
Genevieve.
Did you feel you could leave the London hotel?
No, I understood his capability, his access to guns, the threat he made.
When you were taken to the hotel after the assault,
Trust me, we know that didn't make sense, but let's continue.
No,
did you know that this assault incident was reported?
I know there was a blind item on the internet without our names.
Who raised the blind item to you?
My mother.
At this moment, the defense objected. It wasn't said what grounds, but the prosecution then said,
Not for the truth.
then the judge overruled the defense's objection.
This was before FaceTime was very popular, so I could hide myself. She asked if it was me.
What did you say?
No, I did not want my mother to know something of that magnitude and be in danger.
When you went to a party with your girlfriends, what happened?
I saw executives from BET. Then I heard that Sean was there.
What did you do?
I left. I ran out as fast as I could.
Why?
I thought he was angry.
Did he come to the hotel where you were staying?
Yes, he beat me up and called me names. My face was bruised.
This photo. Who is it?
Scott Mascuti, known as Kid Cudi. We dated in 2011.
Did Sean find out?
Yes, in my phone. Sean went through my phone during a freakout. He found an email.
About what?
Taking my toiletry bag to Scott's the next day. Sean put a wine opener in his hand and threw me. I called Scott on a burner phone.
Where did you go?
To Scott's house. Then I talked with Capricorn Clark, one of Sean's assistants.
Then what?
I went to the house Sean was staying at. He told me he would release videos and hurt Scott and I.
What videos?
Freak off videos of me. Sean kicked me in the back. I got a bruise.
Where'd you go?
To my hotel with the burner phone. The room was torn up. Someone peed all over the floor, pooped in the toilet, and didn't flush it. It was gross. This was just before Christmas. I sent an email to my mom in Capricorn from my flight to Boston and Connecticut
What did you write?
that Sean said he would release the tape of me on Christmas and he'd had Scott and I hurt. He said he would be out of the country then.
What are these photographs?
My mother took them in Connecticut of the bruises on my back.
Were you entirely honest with your mother about the abuse?
No, I said this was the first time.
Did you tell her about the freak-offs?
No. Is it possible to take a break?
At this moment, Cassie asked to take a break. The reason is unclear, perhaps because of her pregnancy. Or maybe the questions were making her uncomfortable that she needed a break. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's continue. Once they came back, the judge asked the prosecution, how much longer were they planning to question Cassie? The prosecution said 1 more hour, and that their goal was to finish the direct and allow the start of cross-examination today. Then they continued.
Did anyone come to see you in Connecticut?
Scott did for a few days. I broke it off with him. It was too dangerous.
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge overruled it.
Sean said he would hurt both of us.
Where did you go after Connecticut?
I went to see Sean. He was in Arizona, his son, college. I told my mother I was going to LA for work.
Did Sean talk about Scott's car?
Sean said he wanted Scott's friends to see Scott's car blown up.
What happened next?
We met, Sean, Scott, and me. Scott said, "What about my vehicle?" And Sean said, "What vehicle?" And that was the end of the meeting.
Put up the photo. What is this?
Me and Sean in Kingston, Jamaica for Sound Clash.
Were you bruised?
Yes,
And this photo, what is it?
me in Sean's bathroom, September 18th, 2015.
What were you doing there?
Recuperating from being beaten up by Sean in Las Vegas. We were having an after party in our suite. I talked to a producer, and Sean tapped me on the shoulder, called me into our room, and kicked me as I tried to hide behind the toilet.
What stopped it?
D-Rock and James Cruz came in. It made D-Rock sad.
What are these communications?
From D-Rock to me. He says, "Where you at? It's time to ice your face."
Why?
I had just been beaten up by Sean.
Were these all the times he beat you?
No, there were more.
With who else did you see Sean be violent?
I saw him drag an assistant out of bed. I saw him punch Eli or Ely in his head. One time in Turks and Caicos, he dragged a person. I believe we had a freak off in Turks and Caicos.
What floor did you live on in 875 Comstock?
17th floor.
Did a friend stay with you?
Yes, Sean came and held her and threw her on the patio furniture out on the balcony. I saw Sean bring her back in from over the balcony, then throw her on the patio furniture.
And Carrie Morgan?
I saw Sean hit her in the head.
Did you get drugs on your own?
Occasional drug dealers, opiates, Xanax, Valium. Sean would put the pills in a vitamin C bottle on the sink in the New York apartment. He'd say, "You can take them." He had doctors who would write the scripts in the name of an assistant or in my name.
Your brother's birthday party in Connecticut in 2013. What happened?
My mother told me someone was taking pictures of me. I went and punched her in the head.
You testified your relationship with Sean ended in 2018. How was your health?
I was sleepwalking. I had PTSD.
At this moment, the defense objected, but the judge overruled it.
What's this?
A photo of my front door in 2018.
Publish it to the jury. Why is there a knife there?
Sean was coming around a lot, so I had it.
August 2018. What happened?
We were having a closure conversation at a restaurant in Malibu. He was trying to convince me to go to Burning Man.
Were you seeing anyone?
My now husband.
What happened next?
Sean came to my house and raped me on my living room floor. His eyes were black. It was like taking something from you.
You cried. What did Sean do?
He continued and fished inside of me. Then he got up and left.
Did you ever have sex with him again?
Yes, voluntarily. We had a good night. I went back to his house.
Can you explain why you did that after he raped you?
We had been together 10 years.
Who did you stay in touch with?
Most people, though, I pulled away.
What did you message Sean about after that?
Just checking in.
What did he send you?
That he had iPads full of images. Get him his money.
Money back for what?
For having paid my now husband to be my trainer.
What did you write back?
Do you want me to tell the truth? It's much deeper than iPads. There was abuse, More than freak offs. There was a time I couldn't take the pain, tried to walk out in traffic. My husband wouldn't let me. I had trauma therapy,
Did you write?
a book with chapters. My mom helped.
What did you want with the book?
That Sean read it.
What pain did Sean put you through?
Shame. To carry the things that were shameful for him. I took on a lot of responsibility for that I never should have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22. It was expected of me. I felt terrible.
How did you get chapters to Sean?
Through my attorney, and I reached out to KK. I asked her if he read it. She said it was not taken seriously.
How much did you ask for the book?
$30 million.
Did you sue?
November 2023.
What happened with the lawsuit?
It settled for $20 million in 24 hours.
Why are you testifying in this trial?
I can't carry this anymore. What's wrong is wrong. I treated people like they were disposable. Escorts, anybody.
How many freak-offs did you have with Sean?
Impossible to know. Hundreds.
After you broke up with Sean, did you ever do a freak-off?
No.
No further questions.
Ms. Ventura, you loved Mr. Combs, correct?
I did.
For 11 years, you took care of him.
In some ways,
You called him larger than life.
I did.
Others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Sean.
This is the defense up to bat, guys. Pay close attention to the narrative, I should say, that they're painting.
Right?
Yes.
You knew a version of him the rest of the world couldn't see, right?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
In ways.
You kept coming back to him for 11 years?
I wouldn't say coming back.
You believed he loved you too.
I did believe he loved me too.
So when he cheated on you, it hurt.
Not every time.
At this moment, the defense said,
Bring up this defense exhibit.
but the prosecution objected and said it was not in evidence, and the judge agreed that it was not in evidence. Then they continued.
Ms. Ventura, read this just to yourself. Why did you send this message?
To let him know I was going to dinner.
What was going on when these messages were sent?
I'm not sure.
What was going on in your relationship then?
It was early. We were loving.
I offer it.
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of being offered the truth, but was overruled.
Please read.
I wrote, I love you, smiley face. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you, Cass.
This 2009 email.
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of hearsay, and the judge told the defense to ask more questions.
From BlackBerry. What is BG?
Baby girl.
What did you write?
You hungry, Pop Pop?
And Mr. Combs wrote to you, we are so in love we don't do anything else. How long had you been seeing each other?
Like 2.5 years.
Please read this 1364.
I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention.
You wanted your special time with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
You testified that you told him, I love you so much you make me a better woman.
I definitely wrote those messages.
You wrote, I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew that he had 6 children at the time?
Yes.
Now, these messages about freak-offs, when you say, you know it doesn't matter to me, you mean weekend or weekday, either is fine.
That's what it says.
Mr. Combs says, maybe we can call Jules. Can you do it?
Yes.
This was an explicit message from you about the upcoming freak-off.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and it ended in a recess called by the judge, but once they returned, they continued.
Ms. Ventura, this is from Mr. Combs to you. You respond with an extremely explicit message, right?
Yes.
This is 2 days after planning a freak off, right?
Yes.
He said, I want to see, how did you reply?
I can't wait either.
You wrote, I feel like I want to right?
That's what it says.
Mr. Combs says, I'm so horny I can't concentrate. What do you say?
That I'll go to Dwayne Reed for candles and then set up the room.
Did you understand that he was going to take another video of you?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on grounds of speculation, and the judge told the defense to move on.
You ask, any pills on you?
Yes.
What pills were you taking then?
Opiates.
You deleted videos on your devices, right?
Yes.
What did you write?
That I need to feel this is my husband, the only one who will see this side of me.
Were you afraid that Mr. Combs was only seeing you for sex in this way?
That was a concern.
You still were not public in your relationship with him?
Correct.
Were freak-offs important?
integral to us.
Who was at your 21st birthday party in Las Vegas?
Britney Spears, Dallas Austin.
How did you get them there?
They came for Sean.
You're very beautiful and charming.
Thank you.
It's true. Who is Tommy Mottola?
A well-known producer.
You were an up-and-coming star?
I guess you could say that.
After you signed with Bad Boy, things were still platonic.
Yes.
You had a rough performance.
106 in Park. It did not go well for me.
How did he help you after that?
We did a YouTube video. He said, everybody makes mistakes.
What was wrong?
I couldn't hear myself.
You were dating Mr. Leslie. How much older than you was he?
10 years.
Then you traveled to Miami with Mr. Combs. The flyer of the event was just a cover to spend time with Mr. Combs, right?
That's true.
You had a tattoo of Mr. Leslie's initials on your body, right?
Yes.
How many tattoos did you have then?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of relevance. The judge overruled it and said, but let's keep it moving.
3.
The one on your arm?
No regrets.
Mr. Combs taught you how to do oral sex.
He did.
Look at this. Tell me when you're ready. Can you read it?
You can read it. It's making me laugh. It's from 2007.
You wrote, I feel protected. You are sweet. You wrote, I see that Carrie is better fitting for you. I'm hurt that you think I'm malicious. You're very important to me. Ex-Cass. What were you trying to convey?
It's like a journal entry.
You discussed Carrie Morgan. Did you think Mr. Combs was attracted to her?
There was a point in the very beginning.
Did that complication carry on in your relationship?
Not really. Carrie was just always with us.
I'd like to start asking about freak-offs. Sometimes you wore a wig and a mask?
Yes.
The general public did not know.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge told the defense to rephrase the question.
No one knew until November 2023 in the public.
Yes.
Fair to say his career was ruined after your lawsuit?
I can understand that.
Let's read these messages. Mr. Combs wrote, when are you on your period?
No, now.
What you be thinking about when you horny? Ms. Ventura, if you don't want to read the answers, I can read them.
Thank you.
The O has lots of oohs after it, right?
Yes.
After a freak off, you'd make love with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Your period, Mr. Combs is asking when you're on it, right?
Yep.
He's asking in the context of when to meet up and have sex.
Looks like it.
Sometimes you watched him with a female?
2 or 3 times.
Did you talk with Mr. Combs about the swingers lifestyle?
That no one talks about it.
Were you keeping freak off secret from your friends?
Yes.
His assistants help him?
With everything.
Would you remember if an assistant came in during one of your sessions with an escort?
Not necessarily. I was high.
So you don't remember much.
I had my privacy invaded a lot during that relationship.
This is from July 2012. You say to Mr. Combs, I'm horny and bored. This was after a freak off, right?
There are a lot of texts here.
At this moment, the prosecution said,
I would ask that the witness be allowed to read the entire document.
then the judge asked how many pages. The defense said,
8.
then the prosecution said,
We don't have a copy for the witness.
so the defense said,
We'll show it on the screen.
so it was shown, but not in the public gallery.
You said Mr. Combs often put you down, but he also sent you encouragement and called you a queen, right?
Yes.
At this moment, the judge asked for a sidebar, then continued.
What would trigger Mr. Combs' incessant calls to you?
Anger. Doubt about where I was.
If he suspected you of cheating, he'd call you incessantly
That was one of the reasons.
because he thought,
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and it was sustained.
do you believe Mr. Combs has good taste?
I think he does.
He's had an impact on fashion.
People like his style. Sean John.
Did you consult with him on your look?
Sometimes I got advice I didn't ask for.
He still ran his companies even while having all these freak-offs, right?
He did.
What was he addicted to?
Success.
What substances? Opiates?
Yes. He told me, and I saw it.
Did Mr. Combs' mood depend on whether or not he was withdrawing from opiates?
He was more irritable, I would say.
What other drugs was Mr. Combs addicted to?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the ground of no foundation, but the judge said, I'll ask if I want the grounds, then sustained and said to rephrase it.
What was his drug of choice?
Ecstasy or MDMA.
Opiates daily?
When he was doing them.
You saw him withdraw.
Yes.
Let's turn to GX411.
At this moment, the prosecution said,
It's not in evidence yet.
then they continued.
So B414, page 3 and 4. You wrote, I love our FOs when we both want it. You felt that?
Loving FOs were just words at that point.
Mr. Combs wrote to you, I want to freak out right now. And you wrote that you wanted it too. LOL, me too.
I texted more than that.
But you did text that to him. Mr. Combs wrote to you, Jules is available if you're into it. You could have said yes or no, and you said love you.
There was no yes or no.
Bring up B420 on page 2. Mr. Combs wrote, do I have your permission to set up freaky fun? You wrote, ovulation.
Yes.
Here, what do you say?
I asked, which hotel? I must have called him in between. I don't want to assume anything.
He said montage. You said you could also go to Pleasure Chest. What would you get there?
Sexual supplies,
What supplies?
lubricants, outfits.
He says, have fun, impress me. You say, okay. He says, well, can we kiss a lot? What do you say?
Yes.
You wrote, I left the iPad.
I don't know whose iPad this meant.
Mr. Combs wrote, I'll be there right after my session. This was in June 2017. Do you remember arguments you were having at that time?
Not specifically.
Here you say, the game starts at 10 p.m. No breaking character till 8 a.m.
This was a game a friend of mine told me. A way to rekindle your romance.
By doing something different in the bedroom?
It's a whole getting into character thing.
Mr. Combs says, let's get some outfits and go to sex club. Mr. Combs wrote, surprise package coming from out of state. Why can't I reach you? What do you say?
I was getting my brows done.
Did you come to know Mr. Combs was leaving to freak off to go see Kim Porter?
Yes.
How did you find out about Gina? How did you feel? Did it upset you?
Yes,
It prompted arguments?
it did.
And he thought you were not faithful. What were his reactions?
It was scary.
Mr. Combs wrote to you, let's do something different in NYC this weekend. FYI, Dave hit me. What does hit mean?
Reached out.
And Daniel contacted you. Did this mean you might have a freak off?
Might?
He tells you, you better put me on VIP vibrate alarm or something. He's frustrated you don't answer his texts fast enough.
Right.
You tell him to come to NYC understanding there could be a freak off.
Maybe.
You also saw the Book of Mormon.
Yes.
Masked Pleasure. Is that a sect club?
I would assume.
He asks, are you ready for tonight? What do you say?
Yes. I just have to get some things. This is not about what I felt, right? Because you are skipping over a lot here.
What did you write?
As much as you think you're Bruce Willis, you're not. Your kids were babies when we started dating.
If you saw him on social media on vacation with others, it was heartbreaking?
It could be. I was 7 years in.
And what about this? About Gina? You wrote, I don't want to be a side piece, but I'll treat you as a king. You wanted to be the main girlfriend?
In 2013, yes.
You saw social media posts of Mr. Combs with other girlfriends and got angry, right?
Can I speak? I was jealous of certain situations.
Did there come a time he suspected you were in a relationship with someone in the industry, Mr. Mascuti?
Yes.
Mr. Combs thought it could be good for your career if you collaborated with Mr. Mr. Mascuti.
Yes.
Why did you begin your relationship with Mr. Mascuti?
We enjoyed each other's company.
You were in a relationship with Mr. Combs,
We were on a break.
but you were still doing freak-offs with him.
Yes.
After Mr. Combs found out by going through your phone, you went to see him. You knew he was upset. He previously attacked you.
Yes. I thought I'd be safer with other people there.
Your affair with Mr. Mascuti was only a month long, but you got a burner phone for it?
Right.
Mr. Combs kicked you in the back?
Yes.
This came up later in your relationship that you had cheated on him with Kid Cudi.
He brought it up quite a bit.
When he cheated, he said, well, you had an affair with Kid Cudi, right?
Sometimes.
He suspected you of having an affair with another person in the industry. You were in South Africa filming?
Yes. Honey 3.
While you were there, you saw a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina and were irate, right?
Angry.
You blocked him and focused on the movie, right?
I tried my best.
Mr. Combs suspected you of a relationship with whom?
Michael B. Jordan.
You sent a video not only to Mr. Combs, but also to staff. Who? D-Rock.
Yes.
You sent it to them because you were angry with all of them.
I was hurt. I spent all my time with them.
You thought they were in on it. The physical abuse. When did your father learn about it?
Same time as my mother.
Did Mr. Combs come to Connecticut to speak to your parents?
I don't know if it was then.
Carrie Morgan knew about the abuse.
Yes.
The eyebrow gash incident. What was it about?
Didn't answer the phone and went to sleep. I was supposed to be packing for a trip.
He was inebriated?
I don't remember that.
Why were you asleep?
A drink at the Abbey had something in it, I think.
Did Mr. Combs ever abuse you while he was inebriated, then say he didn't remember it?
Yes.
Did you feel he was not taking responsibility?
Yes.
For drugs, you both go to rehab?
Rehab wasn't really a thing during our relationship.
The freak-offs were an opportunity for you to take drugs together?
Yes.
You went a lot to Burning Man?
Yes.
Did you ever call yourselves Get High partners?
We did.
Did you take drugs from him without him knowing it?
Yes.
What was his reaction?
Explosive.
Did he tell LA dealers not to deal to you?
Yes.
You told Ms. Coram that you learned only after the fact that Mr. Combs had dangled Ms. Bongolan off the balcony?
I'm not sure.
You were on drugs?
I'm not sure.
You got a life coach for your drug use, according to this document.
I don't know who that person is.
Get your kiddo back to playtime in no time. Pediatrician's #1 choice for fast relief, Children's Tylenol.
Introducing the new Spectracide Wasp, Hornet, and Yellow Jacket trap. With a lure that's impossible to resist. It's your refillable 24/7, 360-degree backyard defender. Spectracide. You hold the power.
Oh no, is this the episode with the breakup? Reba, we can't agree on the house. Y'all need Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find one today. This could be it. Better put a key ring on it. Realtor.com.
When I decided to get a master's degree, I heard it all. It's too expensive, too time consuming. But then I found WGU. Their online courses are flexible and the tuition is budget friendly. Plus, transferring credits from my previous college was a breeze. And the skills I'm learning in my WGU master's program, it's already making waves at work and helping me take that next big leap in my career. And the best part is, I didn't have to break the bank to get here. Explore your degree options today. Learn more at wgu.edu.
You were doing a lot of drugs?
It was a rough time.
You tried to get into a rehab, the Golden Door.
It was a spa. There was a time I lost all sense of smell and taste and woke up in a hospital with an IV in my arm. I tried then to get help.
The time after San Bernardino, you learned that he had overdosed.
A very strong opiate, yes.
Were you ever not addicted to painkillers?
We took Ibogaine.
Where did you get it?
Cancun, Mexico. Separately.
When Mr. Combs threw you off the boat in Cannes, when he accused you of taking drugs and squeezed your leg.
Among other things.
But you still wanted to be with him?
I did.
Switching topics. When you say Mr. Combs went with guns to find Suge Knight, do you remember telling the government that you did go with them?
No.
Let me show you.
At this moment, the prosecution said,
Just for the parties.
then they continued.
I did not go with them. So I don't think I said that.
You also did with Ms. Morgan, right?
Yes.
Do you recall telling the government that you did not see what he did, hitting her in the head with a wooden hanger?
I saw the hanger. I saw he was angry that I was doing this with Carrie.
This broke up your 17-year friendship with her?
It did.
Did you tell Mr. Combs about your relationship with your now husband?
No.
Ms. Morgan sued you and Mr. Combs.
Made a demand.
And you paid part of that?
I did.
And you haven't spoken with her since?
Maybe one text.
That was the relationship ender?
Yes.
You would heat up the baby oil?
Yes.
Now, is this from the day before the Intercontinental Hotel incident?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
This is a long document. We need time to read it.
so they took a break.
Is this from March 4th?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
With UCT time, it is March 3rd.
then continued.
Okay, Mr. Combs refers to accessories.
For the premiere.
You sent him an explicit message?
Yes.
He responded with with a number of M's. He wrote, "Too bad you have to work, LOL."
He did.
You ask him, "Are you feeling better?" Then he's discussing bodily function.
Yes. Could we just clarify what time these messages are really from with the UCT?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
There's a stipulation on that.
And this document was shown. You can pause to read it if you want. Then they continued.
Mr. Combs went to your premiere lunch at the London Hotel?
He did.
Then he says, I just got out of a spiritual therapy session.
I asked, how did it go?
He said, it's a process. This is leading up to the hotel incident. You say, baby, I want to FO so bad. You were asked in your direct and said you didn't want him to ruin your premiere.
Sure.
Mr. Combs says, if we start at 7 p.m. and go until 4 a.m., you can get enough rest after.
Yes.
He's saying it'd be a shorter than usual freak off?
That's how I would understand it.
What do you say?
Carrie is here. We can't do it at my house.
You say, that guy is sick. I'm not going to ask you what you meant. So you were turning to Johnny. Was he a dancer or an escort?
We hired him as a dancer, but he did what an escort does.
Do you remember the beginning of this freak off in the Intercontinental?
Not really.
The drugs were bad MDMA, right?
I have no idea.
You believe Mr. Combs was blacked out for the Intercontinental event?
I believe he was intoxicated. Everyone's definition is different.
But you said blacked out. What did you write here?
I wrote, when you get fucked up the wrong way.
You meant drugs.
And alcohol.
Here Mr. Combs writes to you, I am so horny for you.
At this moment, the prosecution objected and said this was not an evidence. Then they continued.
Here Mr. Combs is asking you for sex soon after the Intercontinental, right?
I was saying how he felt.
What did you write back?
I wrote, we need a different vibe than Friday at the Intercontinental.
Mr. Combs wrote, Vuck Friday, I don't even want to do that again. What did you write?
I wrote, LOL, true.
Mr. Combs suspected you of having an affair with someone else in the industry. What happened when he took your phone?
We were in a car and he told me to call my mother. When I did, he grabbed my phone and took it.
It was a big fight.
He was just gone.
For how long?
A few hours until my mother called the police.
Did Mr. Combs go through your phone?
I think so. And he called someone on it.
The person you had an affair with?
I don't know if he's playing anymore.
But he was an NFL player and he was jealous. Wasn't there a time he found out you were dancing with another person in the entertainment industry and took your phone, right?
I don't remember.
It was Chris Brown.
I was not dancing with him.
Look at this. It's from 2013.
Now I see.
What else did Mr. Combs take?
My car, my passport, when he was angry.
Let's refresh you about Mr. Combs being in rehab.
I vaguely remember.
Why did you go to Sedona?
I went to Arizona to get away from the drugs.
I'm going to go to a new topic. Mr. Combs told you to go get the video you'd heard about. What did you write?
I wrote, you keep putting me down.
I'm going to play you some audio.
At this moment, the defense played an audio. This voiceover is what was said in the audio.
If you saw a video of someone f***ing me, who was f***ing me? You have it. Why didn't you show me? Because I'm not disrespectful, bro. If you don't show me, I will kill you. Cut you up. I will fucking kill you. I've never killed anyone in my life. I am going to fuck you up. It's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Tell me.
That was you, right?
Yes.
Did Mr. Combs express concern about these videos being released?
When?
Ever.
Yes.
The escort, Jonathan. You thought he took a video?
Yes.
Mr. Combs spent a lot of money to make sure the video did not get released?
I don't know.
You had a conversation with Jonathan Audie that was transcribed?
I'm not sure.
He was volatile?
I didn't trust him.
What did Mr. Combs say when you told him you thought Mr. Audie was recording?
He said he'd take care of it.
Are you aware of an escort leaving comments on Mr. Combs' Instagram page?
I am not.
Now let's talk about rehab. Do you still take Suboxone?
Something like it.
What does it treat?
Opioid addiction.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled by the judge.
You wrote a book in rehab. The place treats sexual compulsion.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge asked for a sidebar.
Did you get neurofeedback therapy?
Yes.
What is it?
They hook something up to your head and show you things. See how you react.
Were you told the effects of it?
Help me with my trauma.
Did you participate in EMDR?
Yes.
What does it do?
Memories and processing them.
The idea is you recall prior traumatic memories, like for PTSD. You were being treated for PTSD.
Yes. I was still physically developing.
You were 22.
Women keep developing after 22, don't you think?
But you're not suggesting you were still physically developing after 22.
I am not.
This message is about having a freak off without ketamine, right?
At this moment, the prosecution said,
May I confer with counsel?
The judge said, no, but we will take a break. Then they came back and continued.
Mr. Combs wrote, you're so predictable. You've said you were going to tell him you didn't want to do freakouts anymore, but you didn't say it, did you?
I did not.
Here, you were suggesting freaking off with a girl. You say you found a photo of Mr. Combs with Gina while you were staying with your parents in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
You decided to break up with him, and he didn't threaten you but suggested couples counseling?
I don't know.
In August 2018, you called it a closure conversation. Mr. Combs was inviting you to Burning Man, right?
Yes.
I'll read Mr. Combs. You have anger.
I wrote, my family knows I am not running around telling our business. I wrote, I don't need you to be taking care of Kim and Gina. I needed you to put me first.
Please read these.
I wrote, you lied to me. She never went away. It was the nail in the coffin.
You meant Gina, the photo?
Yes.
In your civil lawsuit, you say Mr. Combs raped you in September 2018 after you had dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu, right?
Yes.
Did you meet with the U.S. on November 30th, 2023?
Yes, not the exact date.
In this meeting, you said the took place after Mr. Combs returned from Burning Man. You said he was acting strangely at that dinner.
I don't remember exactly that word.
Did you meet the U.S. on April 8th, 2025?
Around then.
This message to FB. Who's that?
Frank Black, a name he used.
He wrote, I'm in an investors conference. We'll get back to this. You still have love for him?
I have love for the past and what it was.
After this, they took a sidebar, but then continued.
You wrote, I didn't mean to be a bitch. I just don't get the time. He writes, just need you to be positive, correct?
Yes.
DX1309. This is about a yoga instructor?
Yep.
What did you write?
I wrote, I've stopped even caring.
But you did care.
Yeah.
So he said, you could date other people. Let's just talk about it, correct?
Yes.
What did you write?
I wrote, I do love you. I would just prefer not being one of your girlfriends. Let's get up tomorrow night. I'll do studio from 6 to 9.
He writes, can I hold you? Or are you just going to break up with me? And you write back, we can embrace LOL. And you wanted to hug him, right?
That's what I said.
Did you have full intercourse with Mr. Combs that night?
I did.
And during that, your now husband FaceTimed you.
Yes.
Your now husband didn't know you were with Mr. Combs at the time?
I don't know what he knew.
Later, he discovered it?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
You didn't tell your husband you were...
Not that evening.
After Ms. Porter's memorial service, you wrote to him that you were going home. Why had he called Kim his soulmate? What was the 11 years all about?
Yes.
That was hurtful.
At that time, yes.
And after that memorial service, you never saw Mr. Combs again, right?
I did not.
He let you go, right?
I never saw him again. I don't know about letting me go.
You got married to the love of your life, right?
At this moment, the judge interrupted and said to take a break.
Ms. Ventura, we're almost done here.
Thank you.
I will...
Aspen Dental offers same-day appointments, so you can get the care you need. Get in today.
Craft together something special. Is your child struggling with a gaming addiction? Major companies behind games like Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox are now facing lawsuits for knowingly designing addictive features that keep kids playing for hours, sometimes more than 4 hours a day.
Let me skip
If
this.
your child played one or more of these games regularly and developed issues like withdrawal, aggression, sleep problems, or school decline, this could be...
Sorry, guys.
Start looking. Your next trip is just a deal away on Priceline.
And we're getting hit with multiple commercials.
Make a beautiful mother. God bless.
I said, thank you, God bless. I wrote, we should talk and have closure.
Mr. Combs sent back a tear face emoji. He said, you were always my ride or die.
I thought it was nice.
You'd been craving that.
Before. I don't think I was craving now.
You shaped you over 11 years. You shaped each other.
Yes.
Your husband's a physical trainer.
Yes.
The house you grew up in Connecticut was relatively modest compared to mansions.
Yes.
You were preparing to tour with a Matt Testa.
Yes, he's an engineer.
Once you settled your lawsuit, you canceled the tour, right?
Yes.
Because you no longer needed the money?
That wasn't the reason.
After the hotel video came out, you posted on Instagram that domestic violence is the issue, right?
Yes. I still feel that way.
DX1015. Mr. Combs wrote, "Want to freak off one last time." What did you write?
I don't want it to be the last time. I want freak off for the first time.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked the prosecution if they wanted a redirect, and it begun.
Ms. Ventura, you were shown this message where you ended. I don't want to freak off for the last time. I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives. What did you say after that?
Yes, I'm horny. Just got over a UTI.
You were shown messages today in which you and Sean were kind and loving?
Yes.
Did those periods ever last?
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
No, they didn't last. There'd be a downswing.
What world did Sean open up to you?
A world of chaos.
In your 11-year relationship, who did you want to have sex with?
Only him at that time.
When Sean wrote, "Seduce me all day," what did you do?
Write about FOs.
Were you able to cancel work obligations for freak-offs?
Yes, if I was told to.
When you were shooting the movie in South Africa and you blocked him, how did he contact you?
Through Mia.
He said he didn't remember hurting you. Did you believe him?
Not always, because I knew him. There were times he was pretty aware of what he was doing. It's just who he was. I'd seen him be with other people.
On the way back from Cannes, what did Sean do?
He played a video of me having sex with an escort.
What did he say he'd do?
He'd release it.
When you got to NY, what did Sean ask for?
A freak off, or he'd release it.
When Sean wrote, "You ready for tonight?" what did he mean?
Freak off.
What were you afraid he would do if you did not do that freak off?
At this moment, the defense objected, but the judge overruled it. Then after Cassie said,
I don't know that week.
The judge interrupted and said, "Next question."
Do you have any doubt that Sean wrote you?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
I have no doubt.
After Sean wrote you on August 18th, did you later have consensual sex with Sean during which your now husband FaceTimed you?
Yes.
Why did you cancel the tour?
After I filed my civil suit, I was overwhelmed. Addressing the past the way that I chose to was overwhelming. I didn't want to go.
Do you plan to file more lawsuits?
No.
Would you give the $20 million back if you hadn't have had to do freak offs?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
I would give it back to get my agency back.
Did he beat you during freak offs?
Yes.
Were you open to freak offs at the beginning?
At the beginning.
Did you tell him when you no longer wanted to do them?
Yes, more than once.
What concerns did you have about saying no to freak offs?
Safety, career, love.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked if there was a recross, and they continued.
You knew Mr. Combs' full preference was these freak offs, right?
I learned.
It was part of being his girlfriend?
Yeah.
You kept your old device?
Yes.
And freak off videos in this case. They were all on those devices you kept from 2012 and 2014.
I don't know what year.
You were able to stand at his side at the Met Gala. Being his girlfriend gave you access to producers.
Yes.
Beyond Kid Cudi, what other musicians were you put in the studio with? Were you put in the studio with Nicki Minaj?
Yes.
You were put in the studio with Lil Wayne.
Yes.
And with Rick Ross and Pusha T. Am I forgetting any names?
You've got a lot of names.
You are self-conscious about your musical talent.
I wouldn't say that.
You had a bad performance on 106 in Park.
Early in my career.
You did music videos. Were they successful?
At this moment, the judge asked for a brief sidebar. Then they continued.
D-Rock was like a member of your family?
Yes, like a brother.
The assistant Mia, you also had a friendship with?
Yes.
Okay, here you begin with an explicit message, and he responds with one, you are actively sexting.
Yes.
You stated that you were feeling overwhelmed after filing your civil lawsuit, right?
Yes.
You recently received a settlement from the Intercontinental?
No.
You made a demand?
Yes. $10 million, maybe.
At this moment, the judge asked anything further, and the prosecution said,
I just have one question.
But the judge said, I was asking Miss Esteval, can you wrap up in 2 minutes? And they continued.
This is the last thing I'll ask you to read, Ms. Ventura.
Thank you. We need closure and understanding.
Why'd you keep your devices?
I was afraid of what was on them. I wouldn't take them to the Apple Store.
One question. You just reached a $10 million settlement with Intercontinental last week before trial?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled, and Cassie answered.
Yes.
That was the end of Cassie Ventura's testimony. After hearing the entire testimony together, instead of in parts, day by day. What do you think now? Did anything change in your opinion after hearing the entire testimony in one? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good afternoon.
Realistically, I don't know why anyone would be, I should say, surprised and are shocked that Cassie sued the Intercontinental Hotel. They were involved in the incident that occurred. They did indeed suppress the video for years that resurfaced after her lawsuit was filed. And I think they held some responsibility for not contacting the authorities, for handling the situation the way that they did. I just don't think that they handled it in the most appropriate way.
Noon, where do you work?
HSI in the Human Trafficking Group. I'm in the Crisis Negotiation Group too.
Did you serve subpoenas in this case?
Yes.
When Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go?
The Park Hyatt, room 2115, where he was staying.
At this moment, the photo of the entrance was shown to the jury.
What did you do?
We assigned a letter to each room and began to search.
What was your role?
I took photographs of items, then signed them on the 6051 form.
Was this found in the closet?
At this moment, photos were shown of plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottles.
Yes.
What was found in the bathroom?
Several bottles of baby oil.
Now the bedroom. What was found in the Louis Vuitton bag?
Medication in the name of Frank Black.
And that is this?
Bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottle.
At this moment, there was a stipulation shown agreeing it was found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol lab.
Reading stipulation. The pink powder was found to be ketamine, an MDMA in bottle.
At this moment, physical evidence is passed around to jury. Then a photo was shown.
What was found in the black mini pack bag?
$9,000.
Please take the cash out of the bag.
At this moment, Special Agent Binda does and starts fanning out the bills.
No further questions.
After this, the judge asked any cross, and the defense asked only one question.
In the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that a woman was staying with him there?
Yes.
After this, the judge said, the U.S. may call its next witness, and they did.
Your Honor, the government calls Don Richard. Where are you from?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
From 2004 to 2011. Who did you work for?
Puff, Sean Combs.
Do you see him?
Yes.
Who is depicted in this photo?
Cassie.
In 2009, did you observe an incident between Puff and Cassie?
She was by Sean Combs, kicked.
Did you see more by him against Cassie?
Often.
When were you a member of this group?
2009 to 2011.
The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs Cassie, where was it?
In Sean Combs' LA home. We were recording.
What did he do?
He was saying, "Where the fuck is my food?" He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground.
What did she do?
She went into fetal position.
Then what?
Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and body, then dragged her up to the first floor, glass breaking and yelling. I was scared for her, and for me too.
Did you intervene?
No.
Did you call police?
No.
The next day, what happened?
That it had been passionate and she was okay. That it would be better if we didn't talk. That people could end up missing.
How did you understand that?
Death.
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge said, sidebar.
When Mr. Combs told you people could go missing, how did you interpret it?
That people could die. I couldn't believe that this could be the beginning of a journey for us.
As did he dirty money?
Yes.
What did you observe?
He would drag her and kick her and punch her in the mouth.
What would prompt these acts of violence?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
When she would speak up for herself.
Who in security witnessed these things?
D-Rock and Bonds.
Where did Ms. Ventura get hit?
Her knees, her face, all over.
Did there come a time you were in NY for a festival?
Yes, in Central Park.
In the residence. What happened?
He punched Cassie. She came into the bathroom crying. You could see her upset, like she was hurt.
What injuries did you observe?
Swollen eye.
Why'd you remain with Ms. Ventura after this incident?
I wanted her to feel supported.
What's this?
At this moment, the prosecution showed Don Richard a photo of Cassie in sunglasses, and Don Richard too.
The Central Park event.
Why did you wear them?
Solidarity.
The next assault. Who was there?
D-Rock, Capricorn Clark, Harv Pierre.
Who was Mr. Pierre?
At Bad Boy, answering to Sean Combs.
Did they do anything?
None of us did anything. When we drove back to LA, he slapped Cassie in the mouth and told her to shut the fuck up.
How did the passengers respond?
We stayed silent the rest of the ride. I asked myself, if he did that to someone he supposedly loved, what would he do to an employee? So I'd approach Mr. Combs with softness.
Did you try to intervene in the relationship?
No, for my own safety.
Did you see Mr. Combs using drugs?
Yes, weed, ketamine, Molly, cocaine.
Opiates.
That I never saw.
Who brought him the drugs?
One stop. He had it all, including Plan B, birth control.
Did you see Mr. Combs with guns?
Yes, handguns on his lower back.
Who else had guns?
Security, D-Rock and Bonds.
What did you do after Bad Boy?
Sing. Whenever I got momentum, I'd get a FaceTime from him.
How would you speak to him?
Very soft. I'd always call him bro.
Why did you not disclose the events you'd seen?
I was told not to by Mr. Combs.
The Memorial Day sale is on. Check out the versatile Creekside collection.
We've got a commercial, guys. So, Dawn Richard is going over her recollection and her experiences being employed by Sean Combs. And for those of you who may not know, she actually filed her own civil lawsuit in New York against Diddy.
"2024, I saw Ms. Ventura take the stand and tell the truth."
At this moment, the defense objected and it was sustained.
Did you see Ms. Ventura file a civil lawsuit and then file your own?
Yes,
You are aware there's a motion to dismiss your lawsuit?
I have civil lawyers.
You sat with the prosecutors and your allegations have changed?
I've been consistent.
You testified he attempted to hit her about the eggs and Ms. Ventura dropped down in a fetal position, right?
Yes,
Did you ever say you heard a pan hit the wall? You didn't see it?
I don't recall.
Would you agree with me? It has been hard for you to keep your story straight with respect to this egg incident.
I told it as close as I could.
The day after, you say Mr. Combs said people go missing?
Yes,
Let's go to your interview on March 18th, 2025. You did not say anything about Mr. Combs told you people go missing.
I don't recall that.
No worries. I'm going to show you a document for the parties only, page 5. Isn't it true the first time you said this was a week ago? Would you like me to show you your previous interviews?
I know what I said.
You said Mr. Combs made a death threat, one that you didn't recall 7 times? Let's move to alleged incident before the Central Park concert. You are aware there was a camera crew?
Not in the bathroom.
You were filmed in the park. Are you aware if the video has been turned over?
No,
About the guns, you didn't tell the prosecutors about, I saw guns at Diddy's house?
they didn't ask.
You never saw Mr. Combs pull a gun out and wave it around, load bullets, or cock it.
He just had it.
Did you tell the government you never saw Mr. Combs do cocaine?
I don't recall.
Your testimony has changed on quite a few things.
As time progresses, I remember more.
You saw One Stop sell drugs. You saw him take money.
Yes,
All right, 1 second. Didn't you tell the government you never saw anyone pay him? So you lied, right?
no,
At this moment, the judge asked for a sidebar. Then they continued.
It was you who reached out to Mr. Combs to work with him again?
yes,
But he had threatened you, right? You asked him to work with you again?
yes,
The songs you released on your own have not reached the level of what you released with Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, right?
true.
And you reached out to Mr. Combs to try to make more money, right?
Yes,
At this moment, the prosecution asked for a short sidebar. Then they continued with a redirect.
Why did you file your civil lawsuit?
when I worked for Sean Combs, I had no sleep, the conditions.
In every meeting with the government, did you say that Mr. Combs beat Ms. Ventura?
Yes,
Why'd you reach out to Mr. Combs?
one of the judge on making the band, Lori Ann Gibson. I wanted to reach out.
At this moment, the defense objected, and it was sustained.
How often would you hear from Mr. Combs after you left Diddy Dirty Money?
Sporadic.
Why did you reach out?
To help Kalena Harper.
No further questions.
At this moment, the defense asked for a sidebar. Then the recross began.
You admit you reached out to Mr. Combs to re-engage. You claim only to have a relationship with Lori Ann Gibson. But if it got back together, you'd have to see Mr. Combs more, right?
Yes,
You sued for money, right?
for justice.
But the suit asks for money, right?
Yes,
No further questions.
After this, the prosecution asked for a redirect again, and they took a break.
The government calls Carrie Morgan. Where do you live?
Los Angeles.
Who is this?
Cassie Ventura.
What was your relationship?
We were best friends. Her boyfriend to me.
Do you see him here?
Yes, there in a yellow sweater.
Let the record reflect the witness had identified defendant Sean Combs. Why are you here?
I got a subpoena.
Where did you live with Cassie?
Manhattan.
Did Cassie drink?
Not much.
Any drugs?
None.
What was she doing for work?
Modeling. Then she recorded me and you.
When did you learn they were dating?
2007.
Did you travel with Cassie and Mr. Combs?
Yes, Ibiza, Miami.
What did Mr. Combs provide?
Molly, marijuana, ecstasy.
Which did Mr. Combs take?
All.
Did you take drugs alone with Cassie?
Opiates.
How did Mr. Combs act?
He would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence, big time, lost her spark.
Did Mr. Combs talk down to Cassie?
Yes, about her looks, who she talked to.
Did he contact you looking for her?
A lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row.
Would others call you for him?
Yes, Christina Coram or KK.
Did you witness assaults?
Yes, first in the Hollywood Hills. Reuben, one of his security guards, was there.
What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie?
He kicked her.
What did she do?
Nothing. I told Reuben to do something. He indicated he wouldn't.
Then what?
We left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by someone's front steps.
And the next time?
In Jamaica. I saw him drag her by her hair. I ran back to get my purse and phone so we could leave.
What did you see next?
I thought she was knocked out. Then she got up and ran into a wooded area.
What happened next?
There were 2 golf carts in the driveway. I got in one and Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie.
Did you find her?
Yes. Then we hid in a ditch, whispering.
What about the incident at Comstock?
Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face. Then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with a hammer. I called D-Rock.
Did he get in?
No. Then the police came.
What happened?
Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card.
Read this message. Did you send an attachment?
Yes. A photo of the card the detective left.
Did Mr. Combs ever assault you?
Yes. He hit me with a wood coat hanger and choked me.
Where did the hanger hit you?
Behind me, right ear.
What did he express concern about?
Who Cassie was cheating on him with.
Who did you speak to about it?
Ryan, Sean's old assistant.
What did he do?
Nothing. I have not spoken with Cassie since.
At this moment, the cross-examination started. You were Ms. Ventura's best friend since 2004.
Actually, 2001. We met waiting for the Polaroids to develop. I was living in Buffalo. She was in Connecticut.
Then you were both in NYC.
I stayed downtown. She moved to Harlem.
Have you ever met Kim Porter?
Yes.
Was Cassie ever jealous?
Yes.
And the other way?
Cassie was speaking with Michael B. Jordan, and Sean got jealous. She was trying to leave him.
You were both using drugs?
No. We were in South Africa.
Did you learn about Gina?
Yes. He was having a full-on relationship with this little girl.
Why do you call her that?
She acts like that. She's younger than us.
When you say Sean came and hammered on the door, why did the police come?
They said because of the noise.
What did they say to you?
Cassie was visibly injured, but she didn't say anything.
You two were best friends for 18 years, but now you haven't spoken with her since 2018.
That's true.
At the danger of being capital obvious, that's a long time. She's moved on. At this moment, the prosecution objected, but it wasn't clear if it was sustained or overruled, and they continued. Why haven't you spoken with her?
She did not support me after Sean assaulted me. I tried that line at assault.
You reached a settlement with Ms. Ventura?
The money came from Mr. Combs.
Do you know if Louise Hayes is a self-help author about self-affirmation?
Yes.
Why did you send him this with words of encouragement?
I don't remember sending it.
Okay, I want to show you a few more photos. But first, let's talk about the incident when he put his hands on your neck. Were you and Cassie using any drugs at the time?
No.
What did he say?
He said, who was she cheating with?
You went to an urgent care and not the hospital?
Right.
But you told the prosecutors it was bloody and you went to the hospital.
I don't remember that.
Look at this.
I see that I said that.
At this moment, after the defense ended their cross-examination, the prosecution recrossed.
Do you remember Mr. Agnifilo asking you about an incident in LA?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
And he hit her, like in Jamaica, arguing about jealousy. What happened in Jamaica?
He dragged Cassie by her hair, a 50-yard hallway.
Was he talking about jealousy?
No. He said she spent too long in the bathroom.
Nothing further.
At this moment, the judge asked if there was a recross, but the defense said no. And that was the entire Carrie Morgan testimony. Now let's look at David James's testimony.
Why are you here?
I've been subpoenaed.
Were you Combs' personal assistant?
From 2007 to 2009.
Who is that in this photo?
That is David James.
That is yourself?
Yes. I went to college in Michigan. Later, I faxed my resume to Bad Boy.
Where was the interview?
1710 Broadway.
Who'd you meet?
Tommy, his sister Keisha, and others.
How did they test you?
They gave me 40 appointments and asked me to make a schedule. You had to know, for example, what time a particular show on Hot 97 came on.
What did Mr. Combs ask you?
To make a spreadsheet for Miami. I said I'd know his food and restaurant preferences. He asked me why I'd make a good assistant. I said, can't stop, won't stop, I got the job.
Did he have others?
Ms. Robles, Mr. Barber, others.
What would you do as assistant?
Bad boy to 5, then out to dinner, then to the studio to 3 a.m. We'd get a call time at the end of the night.
Did you travel with Mr. Combs as well?
Yes.
Who were the security staff?
D-Rock, Bonds, Uncle Paulie.
You worked 20 hours a day?
Yes, security did too.
What did security staff tell you?
To stay in my lane.
Who said that?
Bond, Uncle Paulie.
Focusing on his personal chef. Who is it?
Chef Jordan.
Did Mr. Combs have girlfriends then?
Kim Porter. Sarah, Tara, Yana, and Cassie.
What was your first conversation with Cassie?
We were on Star Island. Carrie Morgan was there too. Cassie said, this lifestyle is crazy. I asked her, why don't you leave? She said, Sean controls my life, my music. He pays for my apartment.
Next conversation?
It was about her music, but the album never came out.
Did you overhear a conversation?
Yes. Mr. Combs said, Kim is my queen, out in LA with my family. He said, I have Cassie right where I want her. She's young and moldable.
Your Honor, how much longer do you want to go? This would be a good place to break. What about physical between Mr. Combs and Cassie? Did you personally observe it?
No, I did not.
Do you remember a blog post?
Yes. I was in LA when he came back from a club.
What did Mr. Combs say?
That someone was lying on him saying he hit Cassie at the club. He went through my browser history. No one had ever done that to me.
Did Mr. Combs give you instructions about Cassie?
To bring her food at the London Hotel and some Roscoe's.
What is Roscoe's?
Some delicious fried chicken in Los Angeles.
What did you do for Mr. Combs in NY?
I'd bring him applesauce, Jello, Fiji water, his toiletry bag with ointments, just for men. We bought 40 items so he wouldn't call us later. I'd get a key, like at the Trump International.
Goodbye.
So they have his personal assistant on the stand right now. And I'm guessing that this is to kind of lay the groundwork to show what he utilized his employees for, and type of, different capacities in which they would operate on behalf of the organization.
A Viagra, ecstasy, perk.
Let me run that back a little bit.
Blog post?
Yes. I was in LA when he came back from a club.
What did Mr. Combs say?
That someone was lying on him saying he hit Cassie at the club. He went through my browser history. No one had ever done that to me.
Did Mr. Combs give you instructions about Cassie?
To bring her food at the London Hotel and some Roscoe's.
What is Roscoe's?
Some delicious fried chicken in Los Angeles.
What did you do for Mr. Combs in NY?
I'd bring him applesauce, Jello, Fiji water, his toiletry bag with ointments, just for men. We bought 40 items so he wouldn't call us later. I'd get a key, like at the Trump International. I'd set up the medicine bag in the personal LV bag.
What was in it?
A Viagra, ecstasy, perks.
How did you go about replenishing these supplies?
I'd use my personal credit card. Bad boy paid me back.
Who paid you back?
Usually Bonds.
Did Mr. Combs ever stay alone in a hotel?
Never. Usually Cassie, sometimes other women.
Did he ask you for things during a stay?
He'd text me for an iPod or food.
Did anything strange ever happen?
Yes, in Miami. He asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel and knocked. No answer. I had the key. I'd set up the room.
What did you see?
Cassie on the bed. There was another person who sort of scurried away, and the shower was on. I thought Mr. Combs was in there.
How was she sleeping?
On her back.
At this moment, the defense objected, but was sustained.
What about the other person?
He was about 5 feet 8 inches with long hair and a large endowment. He scurried away.
Did you ask anything?
I wasn't hired to ask about their personal affairs.
Did you ever pick up drugs for Mr. Combs?
Yes, Percocets at a pharmacy, sometimes in my name.
Did you give him permission to use your name?
I don't recall that.
Was there a drug dealer?
Yes, one stop.
He met with a lot of people?
Yes, even former presidents.
Which one?
Former President Obama.
What was your understanding would have happened if you hadn't done these things?
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge sustained it.
Did you ever take ecstasy?
Yes, I was drinking Cyrock. I took ecstasy. I was diddy bopping.
What do you mean?
I was vibing.
Did you speak with Mr. Combs about it?
He was reviewing footage of the party. We had a videographer who filmed the parties. He asked me, hey, Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party? I said, yes. And he said, I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it.
Meaning?
That I'd be embarrassed.
Did anything ever go missing?
They said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie came to my hotel room and searched my belongings and those of my girlfriend at the time.
Could you have said no?
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge said to move on.
Did you ever have to take a lie detector test?
Yes,
Who was present?
just me and this gentleman. It was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head, my chest, and my hand.
Could you refuse?
Not to keep my job.
Did this happen again?
Yes, when Mr. Combs said a watch of his had been stolen.
What was the result?
The gentleman told me I seemed nervous. I said, sure I am. Once Capricorn Clark had to take a lie detector to prove she wasn't part of a heist of Mr. Combs' jewelry.
Was there an incident at Mel's Diner with Suge Knight?
Yes, I drove the Silver Navigator to get cheeseburgers there. D-Rock said, that's motherfucking Suge Knight. He went over and said, what's up? Suge Knight didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, I'm Biggie's boy.
What happened next?
We noticed 4 black SUVs to different sides of the parking lot. I saw someone hand Suge Knight a gun. D-Rock said, we got to get out of here. We drove back to the house.
What did you find there?
Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got in the vehicle. I saw 3 guns on his lap. I felt calm because we'd been in a silver vehicle, now a black one. They wouldn't see us coming.
What did you find at Mel's Diner?
Suge Knight had left. Mr. Combs said, drive around the block.
What did you decide?
To leave the company. They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk.
No further questions.
You didn't tell all this the first time.
They told me to stop, to not say anything that would incriminate me.
Look at the notes from your interview. Read it to yourself, then look up at me.
Okay?
How'd you recognize Suge Knight?
I listened to hip-hop.
Were you drinking or smoking pot?
No, sir.
Your mind was clear?
As clear as it could be, working 20 hours a week at 4 a.m.
D-Rock opens the door. Suge Knight is a few cars over.
Window open. D-Rock says, I'm Biggie's boy, and then Suge recognizes him, gives him a dab.
What's a dab?
Handshake.
Did you leave D-Rock at the diner? Why are you smiling?
Because that's a crazy question. Why would I?
Didn't you leave D-Rock at the diner?
That makes no sense.
I'm not asking what makes sense. I'm asking, did you?
No.
You saw Cassie and Mr. Combs?
Yes. Mr. Combs told me to drive.
You don't know where Mr. Combs got the guns, do you?
I didn't know we had guns until then.
Have you ever been in a situation like that?
No.
You didn't say, I don't want to drive to Suge Knight with guns?
No.
What exactly did you do before you got this job?
I was a door-to-door salesman, then personal assistant.
Now you were going with guns to confront someone?
It was not ideal.
You knew how to get to Mel's Diner, right?
I frequent there all the time.
You've never seen guns before, right?
No.
This is a radical departure from your job description. Is that an understatement?
It's the understatement of the day so far.
Do you have immunity?
Ask my lawyer. I have some kind of offer agreement.
Proffer. You didn't tell anyone about this?
Only my wife.
Did you meet with the government this morning?
Yes, briefly, about what might come up in Cross.
Did the Mel's Diner incident come up?
Not that I recall.
It's this morning. What did you talk about?
Your style.
I'm dying to ask what they said, but I won't. I have a few more mundane questions.
I love mundane questions.
Where did you travel with Mr. Combs?
He's being
Ibiza,
sarcastic.
London, Saint-Tropez.
Were these vacations?
Business-oriented.
What were you hired as?
Personal liaison, but I was a personal assistant.
He met a high-level roster of people.
Second understatement of the day.
Why?
He met with a who's who.
It was important that he be prepared for these meetings, right?
Yes.
It was important that he be on time.
No, we'd change meetings to fit his schedule all the time. When he didn't want to show up at a certain time.
He had security because people wanted to touch him, right?
Yes, in the airport, in McDonald's.
Was he gracious?
I don't think gracious is a word I'd use for Sean Combs.
Did he sign autographs?
No.
You said he'd stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. and you'd stay with him.
Yes, it was common.
What sort of things would he want to always have with him?
Ketchup, for example.
Did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers?
No, but I knew he likes applesauce.
He liked Astroglide, condoms, and baby oil, but you didn't expense it through the business.
Usually not. I was told he didn't want to run them through the company. He didn't want a record of them.
When you bought the 8-ball of Coke on Saint-Tropez, you didn't tell Mr. Combs, did you?
He was asleep.
Tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds.
We talked about Bad Boy as a family.
What do you mean?
Mama Combs called me her son many times.
What was the mission?
Make sure he's happy.
Was it fun?
I enjoyed it from time to time.
What was your relationship with Chef Jourdan?
Professional.
Did you choke her?
No.
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge asked for a sidebar, and then they continued. Tell me what happened.
We were on Star Island. She told me where to take him. I grabbed her 2 wrists and said, stay in your f***ing lane.
Was there fallout?
It was reported to corporate HQ. Mr. Combs called me in. Mr. Combs told me, you can't be putting your hands on women. He told me to give her a gift.
What did you give her?
I rolled up a blunt and gave it to her.
Did she like it?
It appeared she did.
You were in a car with Miss...
He rolled a blunt and gave it to her. Oh my goodness. He rolled the blunt and gave it to her. That was his gift.
Mr. Combs and who?
Chris Lighty.
You have taken ecstasy?
I'd party, sure.
What were things like in the studio? Drugs?
Yes, it's a creative environment. I didn't smoke when working with Mr. Combs.
But he caught you smoking once.
I thought he was in for the light. I lit up. He came out. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "If you're man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me." I said, "Okay, I'm smoking." He said if I did it again, he'd fire me.
How about when you picked up 2 prostitutes and had sex with one? At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge overruled it.
She asked for $200. I called Bonds and asked, "What the hell?" She asked to take a shower. I said, "That's $200.
On that note, no further questions.
What about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey?
To file a police report and say that Chef Jordan had been the aggressor, but I didn't file it. I drove around and told him I'd made the report.
What have we asked you to do?
Tell the truth?
Nothing further.
You lied to Mr. Combs about filing the police report.
Yes.
Nothing further. At this moment, the testimony of Diddy's ex-personal assistant was over, and something we did not expect was Cassie's mom to testify. It was short, but here it is.
The government calls Regina Ventura. Where do you live?
New London, Connecticut.
How many children do you have?
2, Roderick and Cassandra.
Who is this?
Sean Combs. He dated my daughter.
When did you meet Sean Combs?
2006. My daughter signed with his Bad Boy Records. He was her boss. Then they started dating. They moved to LA.
Read this message from December 2011.
Cassandra wrote to me. She said Sean Combs threatened to release a tape and go after her and Mr. Mascuti.
How did you react?
It made me sick. Sean Combs demanded $20,000. He said to recoup losses due to Mr. Mascuti from my husband and myself.
Why did you take a loan to pay Sean Combs?
For the safety of my daughter.
Look in the binder next to you.
These are the photos I took of my daughter's bruises from Sean Combs.
Do you know Mia?
She was an employee of Sean Combs.
What happened?
We were in his kitchen laughing. Sean asked her why she was laughing. She stopped and looked plain.
Now to August 2016, we're done with the binder. While in LA, did you call the police?
Yes, Sean Combs stole Cassandra's phone. They had a bitter argument outside her apartment building. She lived on the 17th floor. They argued at the roundabout.
Who else was there?
D-Rock.
Is Damian Butler his government name?
He was standing between us. I tried to hit him. Sean Combs took Cassandra's car, a Jaguar.
No further questions.
After this, the judge asked the defense if they wanted to cross-examine, but they said no.
The government calls Mr. Sheree Hayes. What?
I'm really surprised that the defense had no questions for Cassie's mom. I don't understand why they had absolutely no questions for her mother. Maybe they couldn't poke holes in her testimony, or maybe they felt that they would open the door to other evidence. I don't know. But next up is the Punisher, Sheree Hayes.
They argued at the roundabout.
Who else was there?
D-Rock.
Is Damian Butler his government name?
He was standing between us. I tried to hit him. Sean Combs took Cassandra's car, a Jaguar.
No further questions.
After this, the judge asked the defense if they wanted to cross-examine, but they said no.
The government calls Mr. Sheree Hayes. Where are you from?
Harlem, New York.
What was your work?
Male exotic dancer. I was known as the Punisher.
Do you recognize these two?
I do. Mr. Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. I was hired in 2012 to create a sexy erotic scene for them.
Why were you called the Punisher?
Playing basketball on West 4th Street.
The woman who called you, what time did she book you for?
Midnight at Trump Tower, Central Park West. Striptease for a small group of friends.
When you got there, how did Miss Ventura appear?
In a bathroom with nothing underneath and a wig. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no one else. She told me she and her husband wanted to create a sexual scene with baby oil.
What did she hand to you?
$800.
How was the room?
Dimly lit, electric candles. Bowls of water with bottles of baby oil in them. She told me not to acknowledge her husband, not to look at him when he came out.
Did he come out?
Yes, he was naked, but I could not see his face. It was like what a Muslim woman wears. You see only the eyes. He had a bottle of Astroglide.
How did you recognize it?
I
Celebrate Zaxby's birthday with.
So Diddy had on a hijab at the meetup between himself, Cassie, and the Punisher.
and a wig. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no one else. She told me she and her husband wanted to create a sexual scene with baby oil.
What did she hand to you?
$800.
How was the room?
Dimly lit, electric candles, bowls of water with bottles of baby oil in them. She told me not to acknowledge her husband, not to look at him when he came out.
Did he come out?
Yes, he was naked, but I could not see his face. It was like what a Muslim woman wears. You see only the eyes. He had a bottle of Astroglide.
How did you recognize it?
I use it, the purple top.
How did it end?
She went into the other room with him. When she came back, she asked if I wanted to finish. I said no. If they were happy, I was happy. She gave me more money.
Did you do it again?
Yes, 8 or 12 times.
How did you end up recognizing her?
I was a fan of Mr. Combs and followed him on Instagram. I saw her on it.
This would be a good place to break.
And they did. They took a break, then came back and continued.
How are these sessions scheduled?
I'd be reached out to at 5 or 7 p.m. for later. They'd ask for a sexy scene, but I knew it would be more.
How would it start?
Baby oil, a sexy atmosphere. Mr. Combs would direct.
How did the direction work?
Mr. Combs might say, sit forward, move the camera, or what would happen, really, One time during sex, he dropped a stack of money. He said, I like this shit.
How much baby oil did you use?
A lot. We were supposed to be glistening as much as possible.
How long would they last?
4 hours, a lot of waiting, maybe 40 minutes or so. I was supposed to finish in a specific spot.
Then what?
She would leave with Mr. Combs, 10 or 15 minutes. She'd return in a bathrobe and pay me $2,000 or $1,200 cash.
Did you think Ms. Ventura was enjoying herself?
At this moment, the defense objected, and it was sustained.
Did you use drugs?
I am not a marijuana smoker, but I did pull a Bill Clinton. I was handed a joint.
Did you have performance issues?
Having the woman's partner there, yes.
Did the issues affect your pay?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
I wasn't sure how they calculated it. One time, Mr. Combs threw condoms on the couch next to us. I struggled. It was a failure.
What happened?
They went out. I finished. She came back and thanked me for privacy.
What did you think would happen next?
I was worried I would not be used again. I hadn't done my job. He has said, I want to see you pay her, and I couldn't.
Are you writing a book?
Yes, self-help about my ED. It's advice.
In your book, do you write about your time with Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura?
Yes, I call them a married, wealthy couple.
How long is it?
6 pages out of 186. I sensationalize it. I wanted it to be enjoyable. Highs and lows.
No further questions.
At this moment, the cross-examination began.
I'll try to make this as harmless as possible. Congratulations on your book. What's it called?
In Search of Freezer Meat. What's harder than that?
Good title. You have a website?
Yes, now I'm a co-owner. All the male dancers are independent contractors.
You've been doing this for 25 years?
30 years, coming up on a big anniversary.
You dance with them?
A professional dry hump.
For 30 years. Thousands of ladies. You try to not develop feeling for them, right?
You try not to. It's a job.
But you talked with Cassie.
Cordial.
She asked to be able to call you?
Just to set the sessions up. We were never asked to talk.
She was comfortable with you?
She said so.
You had feelings for her.
Incorrect.
But you thought she was only doing this with you.
That is correct. She'd said it was a special occasion.
You did develop feelings for her?
That's not correct.
You told the government. The government's notes say you developed feelings for her.
That may have been taken out of context.
You used your 25 years experience.
This was a different scene. Usually I aim for humor.
You wouldn't try to dry hump someone who didn't want to be dry humped, correct?
Yes, it is important to read the room.
So you read the room with Cassie and she wanted...
At this moment, the prosecution objected and it was sustained.
Was Mr. Combs' request that you
It was a demand, a strong suggestion.
Cassie paid you even when she canceled, right?
Yes, $500.
Mr. Hayes, I wish you success with your book.
Thank you.
What made you think Ms. Ventura was enjoying herself?
It was the first time unprotected.
Without the details.
At this moment, the defense objected and the prosecution said,
No further questions.
Then the defense asked one more question.
What do you mean by steamy?
I felt it was enjoyable for Ms. Ventura and Mr. Combs.
At this moment, the testimony of the male dancer was over and the government called their next witness.
The government calls Special Agent Gerard Gannon. Where do you work?
HSI in Miami in the National Security Group.
In March 2024.
The HSI Human Trafficking Group. In labor in Miami.
What time did the search begin?
After 3 p.m.
Why so late?
We learned Mr. Combs and his family were flying out of the country.
Was there a pier on the property on Star Island?
Yes, we had to monitor it.
Why did you have to break open the gate?
To make sure bad actors wouldn't have time to put those who would search in danger.
What's this a photo of?
The pool and the pier.
What did you find here?
Parts of AR-15 rifles, sex toys, and Astroglide. These magazines were loaded with bullets.
What do these show?
The serial numbers have been cut out.
Let's turn to 2 more exhibits. What are these?
The ammunition we found.
And these platform high heels? How high are they?
7 inches.
This may be a good place to break for the day. Mr. Gannon, let's continue with items you seized on Star Island GX215. What is this?
High heels and 6 items in the master closet.
What's this?
3 cell phones found in one of the boots.
Display the Gucci bag for the jury. Pull up GX10A and the stipulation. Zoom in on paragraph 5. A white plastic bottle. It contained liquid residue of meth and liquid MDMA. These pills were found with a Tesla imprint on them. These had the active ingredient in Xanax. This $100 bill had residue of cocaine. Mr. Gannon, what's this?
A dark wood box with the word Puffy on the top.
How do you know that this is the Astroglide and the baby oil that you seized? How many bottles of each?
31 Astroglide, 25 baby oil bottles.
Any other cell phones found?
Yes.
Was a gun found in this suitcase?
A .45.
Hold the bullets up for the jury. No further questions.
The day of the search, you knew that Mr. Combs was leaving the country with his twin daughters?
At this moment, the prosecution asked for a sidebar. Then they continued.
In planning the search, you knew that none of the targets of the investigation would be there?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, but was overruled.
The plan was to have him not there, but we had contingencies.
What type of vehicles did you use?
Armored vehicle.
And a boat come in by land and by sea?
It's common practice.
80 or 90 agents?
Not all at the same time.
You found 6 people and kept them in handcuffs for an hour.
No, ma'am. There was one individual who wasn't happy with us and wasn't cooperating, so we kept him in handcuffs longer.
Because he wasn't happy with cuffs? There was a music studio in the guest house, right? DX305. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am. It's the studio.
Move to admit, the gun was wrapped in a towel. It didn't look like how you displayed it to the jury yesterday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you find any photos of Mr. Combs with these firearms?
We did not.
Do you agree that handguns, metal, is easier to get fingerprint than maybe another type of device?
Can't say if it's easier, but it can be done.
Can you get prints off a gun easier when it's inside?
I think so.
At HSI, you have Mr. Combs' DNA, right?
I don't know.
When he was arrested, the government took DNA swab, right?
I don't know.
Hold up the Gucci bag. The drugs were in this bag and in the puffy box, right?
Yes.
Your Honor, I am going to introduce a sealed exhibit with the help of IT. May I approach the witness?
At this moment, the defense approached the witness, and the prosecution said to cut off the screens. So the gallery wasn't able to see this, but the defense said,
Please don't say the names of the people in this photograph other than my client. Don't talk about it.
Then the prosecution asked to confer with the counsel. They did. Then the deputy said, we may take the sealed exhibit down. And they continued.
Agent Gannon, you live in Florida. Don't many people have guns in their homes there?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge told the defense to rephrase the question.
Do you have guns in your home?
Yes.
No further questions.
The government calls Dr. Dawn Hughes. What is your profession?
Clinical and forensic psychology. I treated people who were in World War II, which was such an honor.
How many times have you testified in court?
60 or 65 in SDNY, ENDY, and the Northern District. Also New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Virginia.
We offer Dr. Hughes as an expert. What do you anticipate covering?
Her testimony is very key because a lot of people have been saying, why did Cassie stay? Why didn't she just leave? Was she actually really did she really want to leave? Many people have posed that question in multiple different ways. But her testimony, this doctor, her testimony is key in explaining further to what domestic abuse survivors experience, their mindset and views on said abuse or different type of situations. So this testimony, I believe personally, is very key in just getting an idea of the mindset of someone who is in Cassie's specific position.
Why victims stay? Memory.
Have you been retained by the government?
Yes.
What is your hourly rate?
$600, $6,000 for the day in court.
Why do victims stay?
There are psychological bonds and the psychological consequences of the abuse.
What are the levels of fear?
It ranges from physical violence to butterflies. It doesn't have to happen all the time.
What is psychological?
Intimidation, throwing things, telling you what you can do and where you can go.
At this moment, the defense objected and the judge said, "Hold on, I'm going to strike that last answer," then continued.
What can be the role of sexual abuse?
It puts the victim in significant psychological fear.
Why does it prevent leaving?
Shame, degradation. They don't want to think about it.
What is emotional abuse?
Putting down our partner, feeling like a piece of crap.
What about financial dependence?
The abuse controls housing and transportation, taking away her laptop.
At this moment, the defense objected and the judge sustained it.
Are you familiar with love bombing?
That honeymoon phase, the abuser showers her with gifts and affection to get her back.
Does the attempt to leave happen over time?
Yes, it takes multiple attempts.
Which is the most common coping mechanism?
Trying to work it out because of the trauma bond. You don't want to lose your partner.
Personal coping mechanisms. How does placating or appeasing work?
We're trying to avoid abuse.
What is minimization?
The victim says, maybe they had a bad day at work. Maybe they were intoxicated. It's a way to stay in the relationship, but it increases their risk. It's not a long-term strategy. It gets from one episode to next.
What about the power relation?
A person can have power as principal of a school. The victim asks, who is going to believe me?
When does the victim finally speak?
In a safe environment or after psychological help.
What type of language do victims use when they first speak of it?
They minimize. They are piecemeal. They remember the chipping paint on the ceiling, the smell of alcohol on the perpetrator's breath.
At this moment, they had a sidebar in the court. Then the cross-examination began.
Your clients, you observe them closely, their cognitive style.
Yes.
People don't fit into boxes, right?
There are categories.
But you have to listen to particular individuals, right?
I'm not divorced from my training.
As a small business owner, Spectrum.
So she's indicating that she's not divorced from her training because the defense is saying, well, you have to actually assess each individual person involved in the specific situation that she's testifying to. But as a professionally board certified and trained psychologist, she's not divorced from her training. So that basically means that she, as a professional, recalls her specific training. You know what I mean?
A person can have power as principal of a school. The victim asks, who is going to believe me?
When does the victim finally speak?
In a safe environment or after psychological help.
What type of language do victims use when they first speak of it?
They minimize. They are piecemeal. They remember the chipping paint on the ceiling, the smell of alcohol on the perpetrator's breath.
At this moment, they had a sidebar in the court. Then the cross-examination began.
Your clients, you observe them closely, their cognitive style.
Yes.
People don't fit into boxes, right?
There are categories.
But you have to listen to particular individuals, right?
I'm not divorced from my training.
When you do forensic work, you want a lot of sources of information, right?
If it's relevant.
You look at police reports, witness reports, and the like, correct?
Correct.
You're familiar with malingering?
I am.
People can fabricate emotional responses, correct?
They can.
At this moment, the judge said, Mr. Bach, should we break here? And the defense said,
I don't have a good cliffhanger.
And they ended up going on break.
You are with the American Psychological Association, which says you should only render an opinion after an examination, right?
Where? This is a different role.
You have not gathered information about this case, right?
I am not rendering an opinion on any individual.
There's someone named Cassie, but you don't know what she said, right?
I don't.
You're testified across the river in EDNY, right?
Right.
And you say the same thing, even though the cases are different, correct?
It's to help the jurors understand.
But it's their job to consider their case, right? You don't publish data on the patients you've evaluated, do you?
It's confidential.
So I can't cross-check your experience, the basis of what you were saying, right? People might go to a civil lawyer to make a little money, right?
At this moment, the prosecution objected, and the judge said, let's move on.
In civil litigation, you might look for malingering, right? You gave a webinar about giving expert witness testimony, right?
Yes, for battered women.
Let me show you DX-.
At this moment, the judge asked for a sidebar.
Does this document refresh your recollection?
Let me look at it more closely. Yes?
The fourth part is about navigating cross-examination, right?
Yes?
Most of your income comes from court-related work, right?
No, maybe half.
You've raised your rate to $600?
It's been the same for some time.
But you've raised it.
Commensurate with others.
You've been retained hundreds of times, but you've never come into court and testified in defense of a man accused of a sex crime?
That's correct. I don't evaluate offenders.
You met with the prosecutor 6 times to prepare your testimony, right?
Correct.
At this moment, the prosecution asked for a sidebar and then continued.
Did you discuss the topics with the prosecutors?
With all due respect, it was mostly me educating them.
But you know nothing about the case. Were you advising them on how to present evidence in domestic violence cases? Didn't you help them write briefs?
At this moment, the prosecution asked for a sidebar. Once it was finished, they continued with a recross.
You reviewed some filings to the court in this case. It was all related to the subject of your expert testimony, right?
Correct.
In fact, we redacted.
You did.
You are a board-certified forensic psychologist, right?
Yes.
How many of those are there in New York State?
I think about 40.
At this moment, another recross happened.
Your defense work is almost entirely for victims of domestic violence, right?
I'm not sure that's true.
You worked with Mr. O'Brien Steele, who was defending a woman charged with reacting to domestic violence, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Steele decided not to use you after meeting with you.
At this moment, the judge interrupted and told the defense to move on. And so they did. There were no further questions, and the prosecution called its next witness.
The government calls George Kaplan. When did you work for Combs Enterprises?
2013 to 2015.
What fell under that holding company?
Clothing, liquor, entertainment. I was executive assistant to the chief operating officer.
Where did you work?
1710 Broadway, NYC.
What was your next position?
Executive assistant to the chairman, Mr. Combs, from September 2014 to September 2015.
Who did you report to?
Ms. Coram, KK. She essentially ran Mr. Combs's life.
Where did you report?
LA.
What did you do?
Carried his bags, made sure things were when he wanted them. As he trusted me more, he had me around more. I'd set up hotel rooms.
How many hours a week?
80 to 100 hours a week.
How much did you get paid?
$125,000 a year to start.
What did you do in the morning?
Make sure everything was in the bathroom, the breakfast cooked. He was recording a mixtape, so we worked late.
Who was security?
Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, and Ruben, later licensed security in the second half of 2015.
How frequently did you communicate with Mr. Combs?
Multiple times a day. Things could be found in the back, an iPad, whatever.
Did he threaten you?
He threatened my job.
How often?
Maybe monthly. He'd say he was only to be surrounded by the best people and that he wasn't. For example, he went me for a 1-liter water and I bought back 2 half-liters. He said no.
How did you travel?
On his jet, or going in advance to make sure it's all set up.
How did you set up hotel rooms?
There was a bag. I unpacked it. Clothes, candle, Astroglide, baby oil.
Who bought this?
Often me.
In what cities did you set up hotel rooms?
Los Angeles, New York, and Miami. In LA, Mr. C, Bel Air, the Intercontinental.
In NY?
Trump by Columbus Circle. In Miami, the SLS.
How was it booked?
Then Frank Black, based on Biggie's Frank White.
Would you clean up rooms?
Yes, bottles of baby oil, Gatorade. Once brown crystallized powder on the counter of the bathroom sink.
Why did you clean up? Not hotel staff.
It was implied, protect his public image. I was keen on doing that.
Explain.
At this moment, the defense objected and the judge overruled it.
I found hotels would sell photos to newspapers to shame guests.
Did he reach out to you from the room?
For food, clothes, sometimes drugs. I did it.
What drugs?
Docket.
Illegal drugs?
At this moment, the defense objected to the word illegal, and the prosecution rephrased the question.
What other drugs?
Advil, ketamine.
What's he asked for?
I picked up drugs for him, MDMA.
Who asked?
Mr. Combs in LA and Miami. In Miami, Mr. Combs asked me to call a person. He came and gave me a bag of pills, MDMA. I gave him cash. I gave the pills to Mr. Combs.
And in LA?
I went out and met the person in Hollywood. I gave money. He gave me a bag.
When did you carry cash for Mr. Combs?
$50,000 on his private jet.
Did you pick up cash for Mr. Combs?
$10,000 at Western Union from Combs Enterprises.
What long-term relationships of Mr. Combs were you aware of?
Cassie, Kim, Gina.
Who was Kim?
Mother of his children.
Cassie?
Girlfriend.
Gina?
Another girlfriend.
The jet flight to Las Vegas? What was the layout of the jet?
4 chairs, a partition. I had a partial view over my right shoulder.
When you witnessed violence by Mr. Combs on Ms. Ventura, why didn't you intervene?
My career.
After the last glass breaking, what did Mr. Combs do?
He came forward. Cassie stayed in the back. He asked me to get creams to conceal the bruising on her face.
How did you pay for it?
Corporate credit card.
Why did you leave Combs Enterprises?
I didn't think I should be covering things up, like buying the witch hazel. Also, my father had prostate cancer.
Any of violence?
He threw things at Gina in the entryway of the main home on Star Island.
What was he throwing?
Green apples.
How hard?
Very hard. Later, I took the medicine bag into their room. Mr. Combs wanted me to leave quickly.
Then what?
I heard Gina at the gate and male voices.
Who?
Security.
When you left, what did you do?
I collected myself, then went to work for an integrated marketing firm.
Why did you go to work for Combs Enterprises?
He was an incredible entrepreneur. I have learned from him.
What did Brian do as COO?
Ensuring profitability of each unit. I was an employee when Revolt TV launched.
Tell me about it.
We were on the 6th floor of 1710 Broadway. Everyone was there. It was momentous.
Diversity was important to Mr. Combs.
Specifically for African Americans.
What did Blue Flame do?
Marketing for Ciroc.
What is Diageo?
They own Johnny Walker and others. Mr. Combs set up a marketing entity for Ciroc.
Your job, what was it?
For example, Mr. Combs would say, "We are going to leave the house." He meant 3 to 5 minutes. I had a checklist for the bags and toiletry. It was a bad look in me if something wasn't in there.
Is there a binder near you? I can't read that.
It says Southern District.
I'm handing you something to refresh your recollection. Take a look at it as long as you want to. You ran an off-site training, a graduate from Harvard Business School. Also Kenny Burns.
I remember.
You were effective, right?
I worked hard.
I don't know how you'll answer. Was it good or bad?
Complicated.
He didn't need to yell at you when you brought 2 waters.
I worked hard.
Okay, who was Biggie?
A huge rapper who unfortunately passed away.
Wasn't Biggie's birthday a holiday at Combs Enterprises?
Yes.
Was it a creative environment?
Absolutely. It attracted all kinds of creative people. Lawyers, musicians, advertising people.
You used a corporate credit card?
Yes.
How did Mr. Combs pay?
KK held his wallet with a black American Express in it.
You have no reason to think he kept track of how baby oil was paid for?
No reason.
Or applesauce?
He loves applesauce.
On cheeseburgers?
On everything.
Let's talk about the plane. You heard glass breaking. You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
The incident with Gina. You walk into the house. There's a thin table.
I don't know.
You don't remember how a person could get out of the gate at 2-Star Island?
No, I just heard screaming and commotion.
Screams of terror or of how can I open this gate?
I don't know how to distinguish between the two.
He threatened your jobs, but did he physically threaten you?
No.
You talked about Kim Porter, how she was different.
His respect for her. They had incredible kids.
Thank you. When you set up hotel room for Mr. Combs and Miss Porter, there was no baby oil, right?
Lotions.
You expressed caution about hotels, why you cleaned the room afterward.
Hotel staff could sell photos. Everyone wants a payday.
You sent him a photo of him and Kim Porter?
After she died, I was heartbroken for him.
You were close?
I invited him to my wedding. I didn't hear back.
At this moment, the defense objected, and everyone in the courtroom was surprised. Then they continued.
You respected him?
Yes.
What's this photo of?
Me, KK, and Mr. Combs at Teterboro Airport. He just got the jet. That's why there's champagne.
You're happy there, right?
No, refresh it. It's that I was glad I had found the mascara in the back seat.
They found you and subpoenaed you?
I had to retain counsel right away.
At this moment, the redirect began.
Which incidents shook you?
The plane with Cassie and the apples with Gina. I felt guilty. I didn't do anything after the incident with Cassie on the plane.
But you didn't see any injuries?
People can be injured without injuries being visible. The tonality and tension with the apples he threw at Gina, it was troubling.
You told Ms. Coram about both incidents?
Yes, and I told her I am unwilling to stand behind the behavior that I was quitting.
Did Christina say she would quit?
No.
How long did she stay after you told her?
Until recently.
At this moment, the government called their next witness.
We call Scott Muscuddy. What did you do for work?
I'm an actor and musician, known as Kid Cudi.
Who is this?
Cassie. We dated in 2011.
Who else was she involved with?
Sean Combs.
What did you know about their status?
That she and Sean Combs had some problems and they weren't dating anymore.
In December 2011, did law enforcement respond to your home?
Yes, I had a break-in. Cassie called me at 5:30 or 6 a.m. She said Sean Combs had found out about us. She asked me to pick her up. So I did. Yeah.
Why?
She was worried,
What was her demeanor?
very stressed and worried.
Where did you go?
The Sunset Marquis.
Why?
I thought it was safe, off the radar.
Who else did you speak with?
Capricorn Clark. She sounded near tears.
What did she say?
That Sean Combs in the...
So now we're getting to Kid Cudi's testimony, which was heavily anticipated after, the mention of the messages between Diddy and Cassie, in which Diddy said that he was going to have Kid Cudi's car blown up and he would be out of the country. So it would be the perfect time to commit that crime. And lo and behold, his car was actually firebombed.
Respond to your home?
Yes, I had a break-in. Cassie called me at 5:30 or 6 a.m. She said Sean Combs had found out about us. She asked me to pick her up. So I did. Yeah.
Why?
She was worried,
What was her demeanor?
very stressed and worried.
Where did you go?
The Sunset Marquis.
Why?
I thought it was safe, off the radar.
Who else did you speak with?
Capricorn Clark. She sounded near tears.
What did she say?
That Sean Combs in the car, near my house.
At this moment, the defense objected but was overruled.
You called Sean Combs?
I did. He said, I'm over here waiting for you.
When you arrived, what did the outside look like?
Pretty normal.
Any security camera?
Yes, but I found out they weren't working. But the security cameras had been moved.
Did you move them?
No.
What did you see inside your home?
Gifts were open, some stuff I got from Chanel. And my dog was locked up in the bathroom.
How did you usually leave your dog?
I let him roam.
How long had you had your dog?
3 years.
What changes were behavior of your dog after the break-in?
Jittery, on edge all the time. I got back in and called Sean Combs again. I was looking for him. I wanted to fight him,
Did he answer?
Yeah, he said, I'm on my way. I thought to myself...
At this moment, the defense objected on the grounds of non-responsive and was overruled. And the judge told the prosecution to ask a new question.
When you saw Cassie, how did she seem?
Depressed.
Did you see Cassie in Connecticut?
Yes, she needed it.
Did Mr. Combs call you?
Yes, he hit me a few times.
Hit?
Called me.
What did you say?
That I didn't want to talk with him. He broke into my house, hurt my dog.
Did you and Ms. Ventura break up?
Yes.
What about your car?
My dog's babysitter called me and told me my car was on fire.
Where were you?
At a relative of my ex-girlfriend.
Where did you go?
To my house, 8925 Hollywood Hills Road.
Let me show you 6 pictures. Do you recognize?
My Porsche. That's the damage to my Porsche from the Molotov cocktail.
Who took these photos?
Chip, a good friend and collaborator.
What's depicted here?
The hole they cut in the roof of my car to put in the Molotov cocktail.
What was your reaction to your car being set on fire?
What the fuck?
At this moment, the defense objected, but was overruled.
Was the damage on your car present before the call from the dog sitter?
No.
Did you think it was accidental or intentional?
Intentional.
Where did you last see Ms. Ventura?
At the Soho House. I'd reached out to Sean Combs and said, let's talk. This is getting out of hand.
At this moment, the defense asked for a sidebar. The judge said, do you have an objection? The defense said yes, and the judge said, sustained. Disregard and move on.
Who set up the meeting at Soho House?
D-Rock and my manager.
What was Mr. Combs doing?
Standing there like a Marvel supervillain. He said, we were homies. You know that is my girl.
What did you say?
I thought you had broken up. Then Sean Combs offered me water twice. It was weird, Sean Combs being so calm.
What did Cassie say?
That we have fallen in love, things happened.
What did you say to Mr. Combs?
What about my car? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I walked away.
Did you see Sean Combs later?
A few years later, also at Soho House, he said, I'm just sorry for all that bullshit. I was surprised, so I found peace with it.
No further questions at this time.
I want to ask you some questions about your Porsche in 2022.
2012.
I apologize. You get a call about damage to your vehicle. Any surveillance photos?
No, my dog's babysitter did send me pictures of the damage.
The DNA taken, are you aware it came back being a female?
At this moment, the prosecution objected on the grounds of no foundation, and it was sustained.
Do you know there were DNA results?
At this moment, the judge allowed the question.
No.
Ms. Ventura told you it was over?
We just stopped talking.
You told this honorable court and this jury that she played you?
Yes.
She played you and you had no clue?
No clue.
In 2011, you went on a tour?
Yes.
65 locations?
Yeah.
At that time, Sean Combs as an icon, fair to say?
Yes.
You and Ms. Ventura had a sexual relationship.
At this moment, the prosecution objected. Then they had a sidebar, but then continued.
Mr. Steele, can I?
At this moment, the judge said, no, you can do that on redirect.
Do you want to tell me something?
Sean Combs asked about me doing a song with Ms. Ventura in 2010.
Thank you. You believe they left your front door unlocked?
Yes?
No forced entry?
No.
Just presence open, door in the bathroom. I'm not belittling, just asking. You called Sean Combs?
Yeah.
He was calm?
Yes.
You went to see him? You didn't think he had a gun?
I couldn't call it.
You are a strong person. That's how you categorize yourself?
Yeah, this crossed the line.
Ms. Ventura told you she was abused.
Yes.
But she never said she was sexually abused. True?
She did not.
You loved her? Tell me if I'm wrong.
I did.
You got played by the same person who played Mr. Combs, Cassie Ventura, in the 13 years since. Have you ever been notified in California that there has been any more action on this car fire?
No.
Did Ms. Ventura have multiple phones?
I don't remember.
35-12?
If I said it, I said it.
Do you know what a burner phone is?
Untraceable.
The trespass. You call it a break-in. Ms. Ventura told you she'd given your home address to Mr. Combs.
Yes, in the morning.
No more questions. Thanks.
No problem.
What did Miss Ventura confide in you about abuse?
That he would hit her, sometimes kick her.
The day of the break-in? Was she carefree?
No.
What did Capricorn Clark tell you?
Sean Combs and an affiliate forced her into a car to come to my house. I called the police.
How would you describe Cassie that day?
Just really shook. Him finding out about us.
Why did your relationship with Ms. Ventura end?
The drama, it was getting out of hand. I wanted to give space.
What drama?
The break-in. For my safety. Her safety.
At this moment, the defense objected on the grounds of speculation, but was overruled.
Why did you have safety concerns?
Because I knew Sean Combs was violent.
At this moment, the defense asked the judge to approach, and they had a sidebar, and then they continued.
The meeting at the Soho house, Mr. Combs said, I don't know what you're talking about your car. Did you believe him?
At this moment, the defense objected, and the judge told him to rephrase the question.
What was your understanding?
That he was lying.
No further questions.
The judge asked if there was any recross, and the defense said, no, Your Honor.
What's your name?
Mila Morales. I'm a celebrity makeup artist.
Do you recognize anyone you've worked for?
Sean Combs, in the gray sweater and white collar.
When did you work for Mr. Combs?
2000 to 2005.
Then who?
Rihanna.
Who else?
Jennifer Lopez. Cassie.
When did you work with Cassie?
2007 until COVID. She was like a little sister to me.
How much older than her are you?
A few years.
Did you see her with injuries on her face?
2010 Grammy weekend. Prince party.
Where were you with her?
Beverly Hills. I fell asleep in the room and woke up to a commotion. Cassie walked in, then Sean asking, where the fuck is she?
What did he do?
Walk into the bedroom, shut the door.
What did you hear behind the door?
Yelling and screaming, both of them. Then Sean Combs left.
What did you see next?
Cassie. She had a swollen eye and knots on her head. I packed her things up. We went to my house.
Then?
My doctor friend came and examined her to see if she had a concussion.
What were you afraid of?
Sean, I feared for my life.
At this moment, the defense objected and said, move to strike, and the judge overruled it.
How long did she stay?
Days.
Have you done interviews about this?
A couple.
Were you paid?
No.
Did you provide evidence?
Photos of me and Kim Porter. Early 2000s.
Were you paid?
$1,000.
No further questions.
Did you assist Ms. Ventura for any red carpet events?
Possibly. And some music video. Black and yellow.
We have photos. 647, please. The goal was that she looked put together?
Yes.
These photos show your artistry. You reposted them on Instagram?
Yes.
You were in her hotel room, though you lived near.
Yes.
You met Ms. Ventura's family.
Her father.
You called a doctor and a lawyer.
The lawyer lives in San Francisco.
You provided emotional support.
Yes.
You did an interview with CNN and with Extra TV, Don Lemon, Piers Morgan.
Yes.
Did Dateline reach out to you?
I don't look at those anymore.
Did you ask the government if you could do more? Look at this. So you asked permission to speak to Dateline?
Of course I asked.
After the incident, neither Mr. Combs or anyone from his company ever approached you.
No one did.
For a documentary, were you paid?
Therapy.
You sold the photos to CNN for $1,000?
Yes.
No further questions.
Frederick Zemmour, the general manager of the Hermitage Hotel LA. Why are you here?
I received a subpoena.
Are you familiar with the hotel's reservation system?
We have a system called Opera. We enter in personal preferences.
How long do you keep them?
They stay forever.
Who reserved this room for Sean Combs?
Ryan Lopez. Also, other names were used.
When was this profile first created?
2006, it said Sean Combs in Bad Boy Records. Then they changed it to Jackie Starr.
Let's look at 2011 to 2012. This reservation, what's the bill?
Over $2,000. It says only charge if Christina Coram approves.
What were the instructions?
Put room out of service for cleaning. Like the room hot, set it for 75 degrees.
What are these complaints?
Candle wax on carpet. Security call. Charge $500.
No further questions.
At this moment, the judge asked the defense, cross-examination, and they said none. Then came the next witness.
Special Agent Josh Croft, where do you work?
HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. I extract data from computers.
What is your training?
The Sands Institute.
What does that stand for?
I don't really know. They are opaque in that way.
What tools do you use?
TX1 and Digital Collector.
Whose laptops did you extract?
Cassie Ventura. This is the MacBook Pro, roughly from 2010, 2011, with a white case.
Did you boot it up?
I got to the MacBook factory default screen.
But you got data.
Yes, the hard drive had data not overridden by the factory reset.
What is unallocated space?
Something not viewable, something previously deleted.
Explain how computers store data.
You have a table of contents. A file can still be stored in unallocated space.
So on these 3 laptops, how are they backed up?
iTunes was used before iCloud. Some looks a little funky.
But you can validate the funky, as you say, data by going to the raw data?
Yes.
Nothing further.
On one of the laptops, there was a Frank Black profile.
Yes.
Did you process every file?
Yes.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Frank Black, did you proceed under Ms. Ventura's consent?
Under warrant.
At this moment, the judge said, no more witnesses. Jurors, I intend to release you early. Any objections? Don't read anything about the case. Go for a walk. Watch the Knicks avenge their Game 1 loss. And you must tattle. We're making great progress. All rise. What do you think about them? Now, hearing them all together, who do you think did better? The prosecution or the defense?
Well, that is the full 2-week testimony in the Sean P. Diddy Combs case. And I still stand on the prosecution having 5 points and the defense having 1 point, in my opinion. I think that the prosecution, i.e. the government, is laying a strong foundation for hopefully what will become like the full picture of why they have indicted Sean P. Diddy Combs with racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation for the purposes of procuring lady or gentleman of the night employment. And what else? Forced fraud and coercion. I hope they're laying out, this is just the foundation of their case, laying the foundation to paint that picture. And we'll see what happens when the court reconvenes on Tuesday. As it stands right now, in my honest opinion, in the ongoing trial of Sean Puff Daddy Combs, the government has presented several alleged predicate acts to support the charges of racketeering, conspiracy under the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. These acts are intended to demonstrate a pattern of criminal behavior within an alleged criminal enterprise. The alleged predicate acts presented by the prosecution for sex trafficking, is directly related to the testimony of Cassie and other witnesses who described instances where women were allegedly coerced into participating into drug fueled sexual encounters referred to as FOs. Cassie and her mom provided accounts of physical abuse and threats, suggesting a pattern of coercive control. As far as the arson, rapper Kid Cudi testified that after Combs discovered his romantic relationship with Cassie, that Diddy allegedly broke into his home, that's burglary, and subsequently his car was car bombed. While there was no direct evidence linking Diddy to that, arson, and the prosecutors argue this incident supports a pattern of intimidation and violence. In relation to the obstruction of justice charge and bribery, the indictment includes allegations that Diddy engaged in this obstruction of justice and bribery through specific details and evidence presented in court regarding these charges, and they've not really been extensively reported. So maybe that's coming up, maybe that's forthcoming, who knows. As far as drug distribution, his former assistant David James did indeed testify about procuring drugs, including ecstasy pills, for Mr. Combs and his associates, indicating maybe involvement in drug distribution activities. And in my opinion, the current status of the trial, while the government has presented various testimonies and evidence to support these predicate acts, the defense has challenged the credibility and interpretation of these accounts. I would have to note that despite the serious allegations, the prosecution does face challenges. I don't believe that they have definitively proved the elements required for a RICO conviction. Now, this trial is ongoing. There's a lot more testimony that we are waiting on. The courts will resume on Tuesday. So we shall see exactly what the government has in store, what they have to present in the way of witnesses as well as evidence. So we will see. Guys, I want to say thank you to those in the live chat right now. And for those of you catching this on the replay, let's congregate in the comments and have a discussion. If you'd like to give me your perspective, any early predictions on this. I see your comment here. Let's see. Dopamine. It wouldn't surprise me if Nature Boy and a lot more people are connected. Puffy, Diddy, and Nature Boy even have the same eyebrows. I don't know if Nature Boy would be connected to Puff Daddy, simply because of status, circles. I don't think that Nature Boy would be connected to Diddy per se in in the real world, I would say probably they have similar behaviors. I would say they may have similar behavior patterns for sure. Definitely. But actual connection to each other, like knowing one another or running in the similar circles, I don't know. But Nature Boy he was at one point a male escort. So who knows? It's possible. Arnold says, "Hey Arnold, how are you?" Arnold Watson. Arnold Watson says, "Girl, the same eyebrows, question mark. That's odd, but no connection." Yeah, definitely. Something foreign. Hey, how are you? That was a power play. Oh, I agree with you completely. I completely agree. Something foreign. But guys, definitely help in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Any early predictions, because it's interesting to see what everyone's kind of thinking at this point. I don't have any prediction right now. I think it's way too soon. We're at week 2 of what's slated for an 8-week trial. And I would imagine that the government has a lot more evidence to present. And the defense has yet to provide their case in chief, if they even provide a case. Because as I stated in the beginning of this live stream, the government, whether it be on the state level or the federal level, has the highest burden of proof. So they are required to present the most evidence to prove the charges being brought against any defendant. So I'm just kind of watching things as things unfold and giving my opinion simply and solely on the evidence that's currently being presented without, saying, oh, Diddy's winning or, oh, the government's winning. I just think right now we're in the throes of this. But I will keep you guys posted and updated on a day-to-day basis. I want to say that on, Wednesday, June 4th, I don't know if I will be going live or not. That particular day, I have something that I need to do. If I don't go live that day, I'll just review Wednesday along with Thursday. I'll come live a little earlier and do both days together. But if you're not already subscribed, guys, please consider subscribing today. Be sure to set your notifications to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content. We are almost at that 500 mark. That is going to be that's like, I'm anticipating that 500. And I know I can't do it without you guys. So Bush Babies, if you're enjoying the coverage so far and the conversation as well as the content, please go on ahead and subscribe. Guys, please give us a like, share, and definitely comment. I look forward to reading you guys' comments and hearing from you, because some of you have some really interesting perspectives as it relates to not just this case, but a lot of the other cases that I have posted on this channel. So tap in. All right, guys, until next time. Again, thank you, Arnold. Thank you, Something Foreign. And thank you, Dopamine, for being here. And Bush Babies, I see you. I appreciate you guys as well.